All right, everybody, this is Jason. I use he, him pronouns. This is session 2 of Alien Hope's Last Day. We're playing this through the Gauntlet. We play lots of games there. If you're interested and you like what you see, check out gauntlet-rpg or gauntlet-rpg.com. We're playing the game Alien. It's just coming out about a week or so from now. But if you did pre-orders, you've gotten the manual now. It's really pretty. It's big. Got a Game Master screen. I've got fancy alien dice. The stress die is yellow. It's got a face hugger on it when you roll a 1. And the base die has like a little crosshair. Where is it? It's got like a crosshair when you roll a 6. So I'll be rolling those behind the scenes here tonight. As I mentioned, this is session 2. This will finish up. I hope we'll get through the scenario. We should. I think all the characters, everyone's here from last week. If everyone just goes through and make sure you have the files we want to have open are the character sheet, the slides, which is our maps, the alien rule summary we'll probably refer to a few times as we play. What else? And the roll for your party, and you'll find the link to that in the notes of the character keeper. I have made a couple changes, which I'll get to that in a minute, though. Safety-wise, we're using, just briefly, we talked about it off air last session, and so just briefly for now, we're using the usual Gauntlet policies of assuming best intentions of our fellow players, the open door, the X card, and lines and veils. We do have some lines and veils. Review those quickly for everyone to remember. We have lines on animal abuse, harm to animals, and child abuse, and veils on sexual intimacy. I want to have everybody note you've each earned a story point. You'll have that available to you today. A story point, whenever you roll, you can spend your story point and it gives you an automatic 6. It gives you a success. You can use it if you failed the roll. You can use it if you made the roll and you just want an extra 6. It's totally up to you. Let's go around and have everybody introduce themselves. Introduce yourself with your pronouns, your character with their pronouns, your character's job or just a brief explanation of who they are. Mention, you don't have to read the text for it, but just mention what your special talent is and what your signature item is. And mention who your buddy is and your rival. And I know I had Lowell go first last time, so we will go next on the character keeper, which would be Jammy. You are up.
Hi, so I'm Jamie, they, them pronouns, please. And today I'm really excited to play. I don't know if we're gonna survive this, y'all, but I'm really excited to play Singleton. She goes by she, her pronouns, and her buddy is Makwur, and her rival is Hirsch, who hasn't showed up yet, but we'll see. And my talent is Reckless, which is really interesting. We haven't had a chance to try it yet, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, I think. But basically, did I cover everything for now? And what they're basic. She's basically the pilot. Singleton is the pilot of this entire.
And what's your signature item?
Oh, a toy dinosaur.
Okay. And just for everyone to remember, the signature item, you can interact with it at one point during the session, and it'll reduce your stress by 1. Okay? You can do that once per session. All right, let's move on to Sig. Robert?
Yeah, so I'm Robert, he, him pronouns. I am playing as Sig, also he, him pronouns, and Sig is the scientist. Sig's buddy is Hirsch, who has not shown up yet. Sig's rival is McWeir. Sig is currently sitting in a nice 5 stress, by the way, so that should be interesting. Sig's talent is analysis. So basically, Sig can help other people relieve stress by studying alien artifacts or aliens in general. And Sig's signature item is their lab coat.
Okay. And Holroyd, the android, played by David.
Yeah. Let's see. Holroyd is kind of theoretically your typical android. He's got some good stats, but can't really connect with people that well. He was the mechanic on the station before this, and his special talent is resilient, which is kind of like armor, which helped out a lot when he got splattered with some acid blood earlier.
Okay. And rounding us out is Lowell with McWeir.
So my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him. I'm playing MacWeir, pronouns she, her. She is the union rep, sort of the labor organizer here on the colony. We've got about 158 people here, maybe less right now. I don't know, but I am I have a company ID badge that is my signature item. My talent is using my command skill. It's called pull rank to order people to do things. Of course, it adds to my stress level. My stress level is much like Sig's, already at 5, which will be something I'm not going to do. I'm also the least stealthy of you. I imagine that I stomp my feet wherever I go. I don't know if you've had people that they just can't lift their feet up high. They're just stomp loud. I think that's McWeir for some reason. I don't know why, but that she has a noise fugue around her at all times.
Okay. And let me remind you each, and anybody watching, that each character has a special agenda. And keep those in mind as we go on. We're going to quickly reach tension points, and we'll see those come into play, I'm sure. A reminder, the buddy and the rival, I do have a bit of a house rule. They'd have some mechanical effect. Your buddy, once per session, you may calm your buddy through some sort of role play, and that will reduce their stress by 1. Or one or the other, or you can, once per session, stop them panicking and get 2 extra dice. So there'll be moments where someone's panicking, and if it's your buddy, you can be like, hey, calm down, buddy, and you'll get 2 extra dice in that roll to try to take away their panic effect. Your rival, once per session, you may ignore any cascade effects caused by their panicking. So a lot of times when people panic, it'll cause the other people around them to gain stress or have to make panic rolls. And if it's your rival, you can be like, I'm going to go ahead and put that into play. I'm not going to allow them to have any effect on my stress, because you really just don't care about them. It doesn't affect you to see them hurting. We're going to go around one more time. We're not going to review last session, but I just want maybe to just bring back a memorable moment each of you have from last session, and we'll do in the same order. We'll start with Jamie. What was something memorable you remember from last session?
You know, it has to be, like, it comes so quickly to mind. It has to be when McWeir asked Holroyd to check out what was in the chair. And in that cinematic moment of the android turning the chair around and all of us seeing it and all of us getting hit really hard by that stress. I thought that was like an excellent moment.
That was perfect. Yep. Sig, what do you remember from last session?
I think probably for Sig, it's getting to actually study some of the dead alien that we killed. But also like the whole scene with the window opening and seeing the larger. Well, Sig didn't get to see the larger alien, but Sig got to see McWeir see the larger alien.
David, what's something you remember from last session?
Oh, it was pretty good. Everyone kind of sent the android off to kind of guard them against this face hugger thing, but with no weapons. So I kind of just like stomped it to death, I think.
Yeah, you smashed it with your flashlight, which came up smoking.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We gave you a knife now.
Yeah, you have a knife now.
Yeah. And Lowell.
So I think it was that I finally got to put my excellent empathy and manipulation skills to the test there at the end, and botched that as I froze on the mic with science lackey Comiskey, who is in the med lab, and I screwed that up, and I had to be talked down, and yeah, that's what I remember.
Okay. Few things to jog my memory, and also just to remind you some things to note. As I think Robert mentioned, McWeir saw a big alien and gained stress, but immediately had the shutters brought back down. None of you have seen this thing. In fact, McWeir didn't even mention it, but clearly freaked out about it.
Oh no, I saw it also.
Oh, you saw the dead guy, but I don't
But I
think
didn't see
you.
the alien.
Yeah, you were like on
Ah.
lookout, and he's like, "No, don't look over
Mm,
there."
right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Um, no one used their signature item, so you each still have that available to you. That's a once per act thing, so you each still have that. Everyone, as I mentioned, earned their story point. Um, McWeir and Singleton saw the dead body in the courtyard, but no one else has seen an actual dead body. I don't. Well, until they saw Reynolds. Um, I did some adjustments to the inventory, pretty much just put in some encumbrance numbers. Nothing's really significant except for Sig. You're maxed out right now. So if you were to carry anything else, you're going to be, you can go up to double your number, but whenever you try to run when you're over your encumbrance, you have to make a mobility roll or fall down. So if you're looking to add anything, you might want to pass off something to someone else or just dump it. And I wanted to ask Robert, do you see SIG as sort of a medical tech or a science tech?
I think probably science tech.
Okay. And look at your equipment, and to get us started, what does everybody think they have in their hands right now? We'll go in the same order. Jamie, what do you think you have in your hands?
I'm never letting go of that radar thing.
The motion detector? Sure.
Yeah, for sure. But I also think, like, do I need both hands for it? Like,
No.
Because it looks like the one from the movies, right? Like,
Yeah, it's the one from the Alien, the first movie. This is not important really, but in Aliens, it's pretty small. But in Alien, it's like a big blocky thing. But you can it still has sort of a handle. You can kind of carry it around.
Right. Like that gold finding stuff, like that kind of.
Well, not that big. It kind of looks like a box with sort of like a cylinder poking out of the end of it. Like everything in Alien, it's low tech. It does things that we can't do now, but it's low tech. You know, it's like bulky and blocky, and the readout is real analog. It basically just has one button on and off.
Cool. Yeah. So I think Singleton has like that in one hand, but like their pistol, like they always have another hand on it, like even if it's not drawn out, just to, especially after what we saw recently. I think that's what's happening. But it's a priority to have the detector thing on for sure.
Okay. And Sig, what are you carrying?
Yeah, I think Sig is just carrying the flashlight, and has a med kit at the ready. Like maybe had a med kit ready to go when we found the dead body, and then just like, oh, okay, I guess at some point put that back because didn't really need it.
And we established that these flashlights are big enough to use to bash things. So, that's a reasonable thing to have in your hand. But we'll assume they're off unless you guys tell me otherwise. Remember that the base, unless I say otherwise, it's dim light. So you're not going to be as accurate. You're not going to notice things as well, but things won't notice you as well. There's really just the occasional red spinning emergency light, or maybe a couple ceiling lights every 10 meters or so in the hallways. And if there's a window, LV 426 is always gray at best. There's no sunny days on LV 4026. It goes from gray to deep gray to black. So there may be some sunlight coming in, or some ambient light coming in, but not much. All right. Holroyd, what are you carrying?
I think just this knife, I assume. And I also wanted to ask, what's this Samani series watch that I have? Is it like a compass kind of thing?
Yeah, it's kind of like a compass, but it also has some readouts for like oxygen level and temperature, and I don't know what else. It has. If you were to make, I think what they call a survival roll, you would get a bonus because of it, because it gives you some feedback about the environment. So it's just kind of like a fancy survival watch kind of deal.
That makes sense. It's kind of what I figured. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I think you also have electrical tools, and keep that in mind if you need. I think they add to your comm tech if you're doing something that seems reasonable for electrical tools to help.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And McWeir, what are you carrying?
I've got that bolt gun, which is pistol sized in one hand and the flashlight in the other.
Okay. Sounds good. And we begin. You're coming out of Simpson's office on the second floor of C block, and you have just spent some time rifling through the office. You found Reynolds' dead body. You found a communicator device, which I believe McWeir pocketed, and it seems to have a connection to Comiskey. Comiskey's the doctor, the Weyland-Yutani doctor that came in on this examination trip that Reynolds arrived on. And you were intending to make your way to E block, the upper floor of E block where med bay is. You are in a long corridor. Like most of the corridors you'll find on the base, it's fairly wide. It's got tons of pipes and vents, wiring all along the walls and the ceiling. It is dark, as I mentioned. There's all kinds of like maintenance panels jutting out. It's no solid lines. It's dark. There's lots of shadows, lots of places for nasties to be lurking if they wanted to. The base is quiet. There's always a background hum of machinery and air pulsing through the vents. And as you come out, one of the vents allows some steam to come out in a low, long hiss. What is your group's intended route to get to the med bay? How do you intend to go from where you're at to there?
I've been looking at it, and it looks like literally we have to go through B2.
Really? Oh my gosh.
There's no other connections. Everything else is going outside where that thing is beating on the door of Billy's bar. But it looks to me like the only connections are right now to B2. The only thing that we could try and do is if we could figure out a way to go south from here, go outside, and try to get in Tanan's casino.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't like that either.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah, I could turn on I could test the battery again of the motion detector just so that we have a better idea of things.
Yeah, you want to turn that on. And when you make a power roll, it lasts for a full turn, so about 5 to 10 minutes. So, you can turn that on now, and we'll assume that's on as you start to walk, whichever way you end up going. So you want to make a power roll. So go ahead and go to roll for your party, and go ahead and pull over 5. Is it 5 power left on it?
Yeah, I'm double checking.
Pretty sure. I don't think you lost any.
Yeah, I got it. Still 5.
So go ahead and pull over 5 dice, roll those up. If you get a 1, it reduces the power by, every 1 reduces it by 1.
Eesh.
Okay. Okay, reduced by 1. Reduced by 1. There it is.
Did you roll?
Yes,
Or did you just pull? Okay, and you got 1, 1?
1, 1, yes.
Okay, so you just, on your character sheet, reduce the power down to 4. So next time you roll the power, you're just going to roll 4 dice. So as you lose power, it's less likely you'll continue to lose more powers, but still quite possible. Okay, so where you're standing right now, the only blips you're getting on the motion tracker are the 2 blips that are on your map still. The one that's inside Billy's bar and the one that's outside Billy's bar.
Okay.
Other than that, it's quiet.
Oof.
Go
Sometimes
ahead.
it's more terrifying, you know.
So either nothing's out there or it's not moving.
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh. Anyway, but I showed this to.
Or it's too small to
Where-
show up.
Right, right.
Let's err on the side of speed to get across to B2. Holroyd, please make sure, stay by Singleton and make sure nothing happens to Singleton and that motion tracker.
You got it, boss.
And Sig and I will kind of go forward with you two coming up behind.
Okay, so McWeir and Sig are going to lead the way, and Holroyd and Singleton will bring up the rear.
Yeah. I know
Okay.
Sig doesn't like me, but I'm going to go shoulder to shoulder on this. Like, I'm
Yikes.
not putting Sig up there by themselves.
Okay.
Right.
Let me add 2 things to your to add to the mix for your strategy. First, I'm not certain. I'd have to look at the map too, but I can probably guess there might be a way to go down into the sub-level from where you're at, and then to traverse through the sub-level and then go up through into E block. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that's a better plan, but it's something to add to your strategy if you want to. And the other thing is that B block is definitely looks like the direct route. B block is the command and security block, and you all are familiar that it is it has a key card lock. It is well known that it's not a very good key card lock. You might be able to hack it pretty quickly.
Okay, no problem. We're gonna do this thing. We're gonna do this.
Okay.
And I will turn to Singleton, my buddy, and I will say that motion tractor is really important. That's why you've got it. Want Holroyd to stay by you if anything happens. You know, you keep yourself cool, all right?
Okay, I'm not sure about Holroyd, but I trust you, boss. Let's do this.
And I would like to lower Singleton's stress.
Okay.
That's
Go ahead and do
right.
that before I forget.
Yeah.
Or
that's
die.
Right. So I'm gonna lower my stress to 2. Okay.
I think as you're de-stressing, just in the background, like from the movie, just Holroyd's in the background, like flipping this knife, trying to get a hold of it. Just like, yes. Like, just mathematically, like, yes. Okay, I'm used to it now. This should be easy.
This is why we wanted to stick to a knife. Can you imagine if that thing had a gun?
Be practicing? I don't know, spinning it around like a cowboy.
Okay, so you guys are going to go kind of backtracking the way you entered you entered this floor. You if you might recall, you came up the stairs on the east side of C block, and you looked out that window, and that's where you saw the dead body, and McWeir looked out the window and saw the nasty creature. And you walked down this long hallway, and you took the turn, and you went into the administrator's office. You're going to backtrack that way and go down that walkway, that elevated walkway. Okay, over to B block.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me get on the right map here. Okay. You have no. Are you going to go quickly or quietly?
Quickly.
Alrighty.
Okay, I'm gonna take my gun out.
Okay. So McWeir, tromp. Heavy feet. I'm going to move your little yellow symbol on the map to your little yellow oval to show you guys entering onto the walkway. When you enter onto the walkway, let me tell you what you see. You see this walkway is cold. You all know that this this particular elevated walkway is famous for being cold. It's clear that the architects and engineers at Weyland-Yutani forgot to put in heating vents for this walkway. So people, for many reasons, don't really go here very much. It goes to a key card controlled area. The security area on the second floor of BDOC is the marshal's office, the security offices and quarters. The armory is found on the upper floor of B deck, or B block. So not a lot of people come through here usually. It's especially cold right now because in the middle of the walkway is it's about 20 meters long. It's about 20 meters to go from C block over to B block. And pretty much right in the middle of the north wall of this extended walkway or elevated walkway, there's a big rough hole in the wall. It's half the wall. The hole is half the wall and half in the floor. So it's just a big sort of opening, and it's really rough. It's like something burned its way through, but you don't see any singe marks. But you do catch an acidic smell in the air, so an acid burn.
And we saw that acid hit Holroyd before.
That's right. So right in the middle, and the wind is picked up since you've been inside, and through this hole, the wind is blowing in. There's heavy rain that's coming through, and where the hole is, it's also where the red light is spinning. So it looks kind of like rain is kind of being blown in through this hole, and a puddle is formed right there. This hallway, you saw this before when you first entered through the west lock. You saw there was all kinds of like personal items strewn about in the hallway, and you see that again here, especially on the side away from you, down on the farther end of this tunnel or this walkway. There's all of these bags and boxes and overturned carts strewn about. Let's see. From here, what else might you see? This walkway, it has every 5 meters or so, there's a thin window. It's only about a foot, maybe a foot and a half wide. Those are all intact, but they allow you to look outside, and there's not much to see in this gray. Let's call it. It's starting to get dusk. It's starting to get a little bit darker. It's this deep gray outside. You guys avoid. I see Lowell shaking his head. You avoiding looking outside?
I'm not looking. I don't want to know what's
straight
going
ahead.
On.
Tunnel vision.
Just keep going.
All right. I'm going to assume, unless I hear otherwise, no one's looking out the windows. They're like, I don't want to deal with anything.
I think it's like pure fear at this point. Like Singleton wants to look outside and keeps remembering what McWeir looked like while looking outside.
Yeah, and I think Sig would like to look outside out of scientific curiosity, maybe, but I think Sig is too busy grumbling about having to lead to even remember to care about looking outside.
Sure.
Holroyd's looking outside. This seems fine.
Okay.
I don't have to worry about stress.
Sure.
This is so interesting. Curious.
Holroyd, go ahead and make an observation check for me then. So you'll take, I think it's wits plus your observation skill.
Yeah, that's not the worst.
And remember, you're looking for 6s.
Yeah, your wits are actually pretty high.
Uh-oh, not high enough. No 6s, but I got a 1.
1s don't mean anything for you. They only matter on stress dice, and since you don't gain stress, you never have to worry about panic. All right, so you look outside. You really don't see much more than what I said. A storm is picking up. Vision is obscured. You don't really see anything in addition.
We'll just turn to Singleton and say, like, the weather outside looks awful.
Yes. Yes. Like, and Singleton is thinking to themselves, the weather, that's what we're talking. Okay.
Singleton, you get a bloop, 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 bloop on your motion tracker. I'm adding a little X box on the screen.
Oh my god! Is that where the hole is? The hole is in that direction. Sorry,
No,
am I
the
yelling?
hole. I'll put a red X. The hole is right about
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Okay, you guys see that? So it
Oof.
looks like
Oof.
it looks kind of like it's either in the wall or outside the wall of the northwest corner of the upper floor of B block. Holroyd, you free to look that direction if you want to,
Yeah, I
Uh,
pointed out.
or anyone else for that matter.
yeah, I'll take a look.
Yeah.
You see, you don't have to make a roll for this. You see, I'll put it this way: if you might as well, since you don't worry about stress, why don't you just go ahead and make an observation check? That'll tell me what you see.
Okay.
Just roll the same dice you just rolled.
Well, no sixes still, but
Okay,
still
and
pretty high, unfortunately.
and you certainly, this may not be the moment to use it, but remember you do have that story point out there. So you see a large black form moving on the outside of the wall. There seems to be a ventilation shaft that has an exit on the upper floor right there, and it seems to have exited out of this ventilation shaft. You know, as the engineer, that there's usually a thick screen, a wiring grill that goes over these vents, so it's probably destroyed or removed it or something's happened to it, but it's crawled out and it's just kind of sitting there on the side of the wall, slowly moving around. You can't really tell much detail about it or what else it's doing. And your motion tracker shows the same thing. It's moving, but not very quickly. What do you guys want to do?
How big is it again? Like.
Holroyd would say it's at least human sized. Beyond that, not sure.
Oh my god. I'm like frozen in terror. Like,
Let's keep moving. Let's just keep moving.
are we gonna go quiet now? I think we should go quiet now.
How about we run?
Yeah, let's just get there as fast as possible, right?
We're gonna run to a thing we still have to hack, right?
Okay. Let's try and do it quiet, like you say.
Okay. I'm going to move you guys a little bit into the tunnel here, about up to where the hole is. So as you progress down the walkway, you can see more clearly now under the light. You can see the hole and what's beyond. You can see where the hole is. There's lots of small arms fire casings lying on the ground. You can see evidence of gunfire having peppered the wall against, to both sides really, but most especially to that north side. You can see that there are drops and small pools of blood laying on the ground. You can see as the walkway continues, the amount of blood gets greater and greater, and you can see that there is a I guess I'll tell you that you can dimly see the door at the end of the tunnel. You can see that it's shut. You can see that the red light that shows that that it's locked is still active. But you see that the panel, the access panel for the key card apparatus, has been opened, and that there appears to be. I think that's probably all you see. You see that that the access port is open. That's probably what you guys would have to get to be able to hack this thing open. Any questions about what you see? All right.
Is the motion sensor picking up Is it still there? That thing that's just chilling.
It is still there, just chilling. I will tell you though that the two signals you got inside Billy's bar and outside Billy's bar, those have gotten out of range. So I'm going to remove those from the map. You're not sure if they're still there or not. They're out of range of your motion tracker. All right. Moment of truth. McWeir, as the least stealthy person, you have to make a stealth roll. I got good news though. You are pretty far from this thing. You're a couple zones away, so you get an extra die for that. You're behind a wall. There's a wall between you and it. It can't see you directly, so you get 2 extra dice for that. Someone that is stealthy in the group is telling you, watch out for this, stay away from the wall, duck down. They're giving you aid, so you get 1 extra die for that. And then you get all your stress dice, put them all together, and roll.
How many stress dice do we have for McWeir?
Oh, you'll see. I'm not done pulling them all over yet. Hang on.
And I'm going to pull some dice together for no reason here. Let's see.
The good news is I'm probably not going to fail this roll.
Oh, okay.
There's no way you could fail.
Until you panic and then get 10 or above.
All right. I'm going to re-roll these dice. Oh, you son of a... What? The what?
What? Sorry. I'm trying to not
Wow.
get
No 6s and no 1s.
I am getting payback for every time I ran this game.
No way.
All right.
Oh,
So,
my God.
You're trying to sneak.
It's really hard to roll a 6, though, like, honestly.
Yeah. With, 11 dice? You have about I think maybe like a 5% chance of having something like that. So you got 2 options. I'll tell you, you're trying to sneak. If you don't get at least 1 6, it's going to spot you, even if it doesn't get a 6 on its observation roll. So you need a 6. You can push, or you can use your story point, or you can just fail.
I'm going to burn that story point, because if I push and pull another stress level into this, it is going to be bad news.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to spend that.
That's a good point.
That sounds reasonable.
Bye-bye.
So you move along, and McWeir kicks over a box, brushes against the wall, and that beep of that motion tracker, man, that thing seems incredibly loud right now. It's not. It shouldn't be able to hear it. I mean, a human couldn't hear this thing. I don't know. Do they have heightened hearing? What do you think? Hey, Singleton, do you want to keep that on, or do you want to turn that off?
I'm going to listen to the video game experience I had playing Alien Isolation and turn it off.
Okay.
And also breathe less. I'm going to breathe less.
Okay. So now what I'd like you guys to do is... No, we don't need a roll for this. So you make your way along, and you get... Again, I'll go back to the map. I'll move your little oval a little bit here. If I can grab it. Oh, wrong thing. Okay, so you're past the hole, and you're getting close to the door. Let me see. Is there anything else here to notice? So I mentioned there was a lot of blood, and it was getting more and more as you got closer to the door. You can see that the door area looks like a slaughterhouse. There's blood everywhere. No bodies, no body parts.
That's even worse. Oh my God.
Lots of blood. You can see there's little acid burns in the walls and the floor.
Sig, where are the bodies? There are no bodies here.
Maybe they got away.
You're a scientist, okay. I'm gonna go with that. I think you're lying, but I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's totally lying.
Holroyd and I think Sig's pretty good at Comtech, actually. So you two, you're both pretty talented at Comtech. Singleton has a little ability. You can all tell that somebody had started trying to do what you need to do. They started trying to get at the access port and to start trying to get some tools in there and hacking the door, but they didn't complete the task. You hear a scraping, rattling sound coming underneath your feet. Something is moving underneath the walk.
Shoot, you
You
got
muted
muted,
yourself, Jason.
I'm gonna go back. Do you guys do you hear me say anything about Holroyd and Sig in the door?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
No. Just something about under our feet.
I told you about all the blood though. You caught that
Oh
part.
yeah.
Okay.
It's the under our feet thing that you suddenly cut out when you were about to tell us what was going on
I
with
know.
that. So
I thought
Okay.
my fear had blocked my ears for some reason.
All right.
Like,
I'll
I
back
thought
up.
that's
I'm not sure where I was muted, but so you guys can tell that somebody was trying to hack the door, and at that moment you hear something moving underneath you, underneath your feet. It's scraping, moving under the walkway very slowly. What do you do?
didn't get that door open.
Okay, like as someone tries to move towards the door, I'm just like it's beneath our feet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just have the gun out, and then I sort of motion at McWeir like towards the bolt cutter.
We gotta get that door open. Sig.
Wait, who has high contact? Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm
Who
gonna
should I be
crawl
squinting
forward.
at?
I'm gonna crawl forward and try to hack the door.
Okay.
I'm covering your back.
You guys catch a flash of something black moving up the south side. You can see across one of the windows. It moves up the wall on the outside. Luckily, you don't see anything that looks like a face or eyes that might have seen you. It moves up onto the roof, and you hear a thump, and then it moves quickly to the west down the walkway until you don't hear it anymore. Sig,
Good.
you're all clear. Sig, you're going to go ahead and make a Comtech check. This check is at -2, so you're going to lose 2 dice. However, just one reminder, Holroyd has these electronic tools. Those would help with this. And if anybody wants to help Sig, that will give Sig an extra die.
Let me see if I have enough to help.
Yeah.
You don't- Go ahead.
Am I able to lend him the tools?
Sure.
Yeah. So that's a +1 to the Comtech then.
Yep. And anybody can assist. You just have to kind of explain how you're assisting. Maybe you're holding a wire, or he tells you, should I cut the red one or the yellow one? And maybe you know, or for some reason.
Sure.
You don't actually have to have much skill, or any skill for that matter.
Okay, that's cool. Sure. So I'll assist.
Okay, so I'm -2 and +2, so just nets out.
Yes,
Okay.
that sounds right.
So I'm gonna roll all these dice. Well, I got some 6s. I did get a 1.
Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take care of that panic. So you're going to need to roll that little green panic die that I added down there. Roll that, and then add whatever your current stress is to it.
Okay, that's an 8.
Okay. So if we go to the panic table, I'm going to look at my DM screen. An 8 is tremble. You start to tremble uncontrollably. All skill rolls using agility suffer a -2 modification until your panic stops. And panic lasts for 1 turn, which is 5 to 10 minutes, or until somebody uses empathy, or uses, I think it's, commands? No. Is it command? I think it's command to calm you down. So basically, as you're doing these wires, you're having a hell of a time because your fingers are like, you're shaking so badly, and you need Singleton to like hold your hand and like guide it to the correct wire to push. But the door does open, and in fact, you end up with what, 3 successes?
Yeah.
So you can go down to on the rule summary under range combat, or actually you have to go down all the way towards the bottom. Range combat agility. It's on page 8, and it lists the skill, and there's a list of stunts there. So your first success allows you to complete the task, correct? And then you got 2 stunts then. So you can go ahead and not range combat. You're doing comtech. So you look under, those are on page 9. So the stunts, you see where I'm looking, gain +1 modification to a later skill roll. You related to this one. You don't need to roll to overcome the exact same challenge in the future. You do it quickly, taking half time. You gain new information. You hide your tracks, or you show off. You get 2 of those.
All of this looks good, yeah.
Yeah, if I did, you don't need to roll to overcome the exact same challenge in the future. Is that for any of the other key card?
I would say any other key card access to B block. Each of the doors to this place has a key card entrance. So any of these other doors into this particular block, I would say you're okay. You could automatically do it.
Okay, I think so. How many of these do I get? You said 2.
2.
Okay, I want to do it quickly, so I want to be done with that quick, and I think I'm going to gain a +1 to a later skill roll relating to this one.
Okay, so we'll pretty much, you can apply that to keep that. Make a note of that. I'll make a note of that too. So pretty much, if you do another Comtech thing later on, just kind of ask me, hey, would this be a good time to use that +1? So Sig has a +1 to Comtech roll in future. Okay, so with Singleton's help, you do it pretty quickly, and the door, this hydraulic door goes, the light goes green and it opens up, and there you are. You have access to B block. Again, there's a hallway in front of you. The room to the upper, the northwest room, that's the marshal's office. That's kind of where the creature was outside of. I'm going to remove that from the map too, by the way. You don't have that anymore.
Oh, does my stress go up for rolling the 1?
No.
Okay.
No. There is a terminal and a intercom inside the marshal's office, if you should want to go there. If you take a right turn at the end of this short hallway, and you go down that hallway, moving towards E block, the armory is on your right side. The other rooms are offices. What's your intentions?
Let's move careful.
Yeah, to get to the med lab, right? Like what?
Yeah, we got to go past the armory anyway to get to the med lab. So let's go there. Let's check the armory when we get to there, and then let's move on.
I just have to say I'm worried because we saw a lot of shell casings, and yeah, so there might.
So the armory's probably open. That's the read I'm going to take away on that one. Okay.
I like you too much to give you any other takeaway.
The door shuts behind us, right?
Yeah, it will, yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. Should I turn on the motion tracker again?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to roll with, because it went down to 4, is that right?
That's right. So you're going to roll 4 dice.
Okay, I'm going to, I'm so superstitious even with digital dice. Can I ask you, Robert, to move the dice that you used? It doesn't make sense online, I know. I'm very superstitious. I'm not even superstitious in real life about other things, but the dice,
Do you want 4 new dice, or do you want...
Oh no, I'll get from the space dice, but I just feel like he has to return them.
All right, I just removed them all. So go ahead and pull your 4 dice over.
I'm just going to pray now. You look nice to me. You look good to me. We'll give you 2 a chance. Okay. Re-rolling.
All right, so the power,
Another one. Yikes.
you're
The
down
one
to
I gave a
3.
chance to. Gosh. Anyways, okay. We have a backup battery from the first,
That's right.
so it's not too bad, but still. Marking it down to 3.
Okay. So now, let's see. What do you pick up on your motion tracker? Okay, you got 2 signals showing up on the motion tracker. Oops, I just shut the... One moment, I shut the wrong file. Okay, you have 2 signals showing up, both of them in the med lab in the quarantine area. Both of them are moving very slowly, not very quick movements at all, and they're all staying within that quarantine area. You guys see that on your map? Otherwise, it's quiet. You get to the armory door.
Let's hang on a sec because jamming dropped.
Oh, okay.
Slowly. Moving slowly. Oh, good.
And David, your sounds better today. Did they do much with your internet to fix it?
Yeah, they came this morning and it was like a tree fell on. It's like specific power line thing.
Oh, okay.
Wildly different.
I had like a year really bad interference, and I was getting, and we used the over the phone line, AT&T internet, and finally called somebody out, and they're like, okay, they come out and look, and they go and they look at the phone junction down in the basement, and there are dozens and dozens of phone line connectors hooked up. Just like he's like, what? How many phone lines do you have? And I'm like, just the one. And he's like, because there's a whole bunch here, and they removed all of them until he found one that worked and put it back on. It was just this weird fun house.
Oh, it's really funny.
Jamie says her internet hiccuped. She's trying to get it back started. Go ahead and wait a minute. In fact,
Yeah.
why don't we take 5?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Get a drink, whatever. We'll come back. I'll make a note that I'll send her a hangout message telling her that if she comes back and we're not here, we'll pick her up in 5. Welcome back.
Hello, I got kicked twice, so in case my internet refuses to cooperate, please just go on. I'm sure something horrible happens to Singleton or they disappear mysteriously, whatever needs to happen for the game to keep moving on just in case.
Is your internet usually reliable, or is it have its
Yeah,
days?
Yeah, usually it's reliable. So I'm not sure what's happening today. It's kind of and it was like the worst possible moment. What you see on the motion tracker is
Oh, I can imagine worse than that.
That's true, that's true.
Let's wait for David, and then we'll jump back in.
I played with Yi Wang last week, and he had really bad connection issues. Just
Yeah. Like I remember last time, like we thought he was frozen because sometimes when he's thinking, he's like really like, and we're like, did you get frozen again? No, I'm just thinking.
So the others heard it, so I'll tell you what you saw on the tracker. There were 2 signals that you picked up in the med lab in the quarantine area, and the signals are moving just a little bit. They're staying within that quarantine area.
Where we have to go, right? Is that
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure I'm not misremembering. Oh my god.
we want at least one signal. Maybe they have a friend with them. Maybe.
I feel like McQueer is slowly like becoming.
Yeah, they rescued somebody. Maybe they've got another person in there with them. Maybe it's somebody who got hurt.
That's true. Do we still have that connection with them, or is it gone? That
You still have it. Yeah.
Okay.
I just
okay.
haven't wanted to call them because they were.
Yeah, for all we know, it's going to alert whatever is in there. That's also a good point.
Yeah, when we get close, let's call and say, "Hey, is there somebody else in there with you?"
Meaning we can call once we get past the armory and get more stuff.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
Okay.
And really hope they don't say no. What are you talking about?
It's just
Yeah.
me. That's a worse answer.
Even worse would be like if you're looking at it and you got 2 signals, and then suddenly it's only 1 signal. All right, everybody ready? So you guys make your way around. You got these beep beeps going on the motion tracker. These signals more or less stationary, and you make your way around to the armory. Once you're inside B block, the doors are closed, but they're not secured. You can just push the button and they will open up. The door to the armory is especially, as you would imagine, it's an especially partially armored door. It's pretty firm. It seems to be untouched, and in fact, everything inside here so far looks calm. You don't see any duffel bags or anything laying around. You don't see any signs of damage. You've got the same dim lights and the slowly spinning red emergency light, but otherwise everything seems to be business as usual. Do you want to go inside the armory, or do you want to look inside at least?
Let's look inside the armory.
Okay. And we still have
We'll have the android look inside the.
You want to have Holroyd jump step forward?
I
Okay.
would be happy to.
Go ahead, David.
Oh, he just says, "I'll be happy to."
So you push the button and the door opens up, and it is similar to the other parts of B block that you've seen so far. Everything's pretty much together. You can see a lot of the cabinets have been opened and a lot of the equipment inside is gone. The armor, the stun batons, boots and whatnot that the security forces would have used. This is sort of like a ready room. So there's benches, lockers, tables with plans for the base. There is a computer terminal sitting on a desk. You can see from where you're standing that it just has the DOS prompt. But no, I guess that's all you guys would probably know about that. The actual armory itself is a large, on the north wall, there's a large cabinet. It's very, strongly built. Um, it has a key card access. This is something that you could only open usually either with a key card. You could try to hack it. It would be very difficult. You could try to bust it open, or you could try to bust it open by just pounding on it, or you could try to use a tool, a heavy machinery tool, to try to wrench it open somehow, maybe. Or you can just let it be. What would you guys like to do? Oh, one other thing, as you mentioned, you're all, the humans are getting stressed. The walls here are strong. The shutters are particularly thick and heavy metals here. You all gotten a little hypersensitive to vents. You can see that there's only a few very small vents here. Of anywhere you've been, this would probably be the safest place. As I mentioned, the door itself too is very strong, and you can push the override to keep the door from being able to be open from the outside without security access.
So you're saying we could hunker down here for a minute and catch our breath?
You could try. You feel the cycle. In this game, to be able to rest, you have to feel like you're in a safe place. This would qualify, yes.
I say, why doesn't somebody look at the lock on that thing? And let's chill out here for a second, get our bearings before we move on. I'm going to kind of go through the detritus on the floor. Maybe I can find another piece of ammo for this bolt gun. I've only got 3 shots with it. Let's just chill, get ourselves centered. And that's what we'll do. I'm not going to look at the lock because that's not my field of expertise.
Right. So the way this works, if you want to rest, you have to spend a turn just resting. You can't make any rolls. You just have to sit and chit chat or chill, whatever it is that relaxes you. So those of you that want, I'm assuming if you're going to spend a turn here, that's fine. Tell me who's resting and who's doing something.
I'll say, Holroyd, why don't you break out that food you've got? That food and water. Let's eat, drink, get ourselves hydrated, get those electrolyte levels back up, maybe.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
and then I'm going to sit and chill.
Yeah, I definitely want to rest as well.
Singleton, you're resting?
I'm double checking when we rest. I'm double checking the rules. Does it bring down stress or anything else?
It reduces your stress, and you would heal a point of damage if you are damaged. Although I think the only person that's damaged is Holroyd, and androids don't work that way. They actually have to be repaired.
Yeah.
So right now, yeah, you would reduce your stress by 1, and Sig, that tremble that you got going, that would fade, as you rested here, as time passes. Okay, Singleton, do you want to rest then, or did you want to mess with the computer or the armory or anything else?
Yeah, I will rest, but I'm going to ask the android to not rest.
Okay. What do you say to him?
I'll say, I feel like for Singleton, just saying the name is difficult. Like, she has to remind herself that it has a name. And she'll be like, Holroyd, why don't you keep watch while the rest of us catch our breaths for a little bit? Is that all right with you?
Oh, yeah. I think he looks at the boss, but then looks back and says, well, I believe that should be okay. I can try to look into these, I suppose, the weapons in these cabinets, too.
And I look at McWeir like, do we want him looking at... I mean...
Yeah. I think at this point, yeah.
Okay, boss. I trust you. So I just nod at Holroyd, and then I'll hunker down to force myself to calm my nerves for a bit.
Okay. What does it look like as you guys relax, or what does it sound like? Any chit chatting, or you just all eating, drinking?
I think it's like that Avengers moment with the shawarma, like just really tired, like just eating.
Okay, so everybody, all three of the humans, go ahead and reduce your stress by 1. Some time passes. Holroyd, so the armory door, as I mentioned, it has a key card lock. It also has a spot where you could put in a code, but you don't know, you don't have a key, you don't have a code. You could try to hack it, or it also potentially you could try to force the door by just pounding on it with something, or you could try to wrench it with a heavy tool of some sort. The only tool that you guys have access to right now would be McWeir's bolt gun. It wouldn't be the best tool, but you probably could shoot one of the bolts into like a hinge and try to, kind of wrench it open or pop it open by just brute force, but having a little bit of leverage with the bolt and loosening it. What this all means in mechanical terms is if you want to use Comtech to open it, you would be at -3. If you want to use the bolt gun to try to use heavy machinery to open it, you'd be at -3, but then you would be able to add the 2 dice that the bolt gun gives you when doing heavy. Is it called heavy machinery? Did I have that right? Heavy machinery roll?
Yeah, it's a skill at least.
Yeah, heavy machinery. So, to break that down, Holroyd, you have a 7 strength and a 3 heavy machinery. So you'd be rolling 10 dice -3 because it's tough, but then +2 for the bolt gun. So you'd be rolling 9 dice, I believe that would be. And if you were to try to do Comtech to open it, you would use your wits, which is 4, plus your Comtech, which is 2, which is 6. Then you would subtract 3 because it's so hard. So you'd have 3 dice for that. But then you could use your electronic tools to give you 1 die. So for you, the heavy machinery would be the better way to go. The downside of that is it's very likely that wrenching it open is going to make a lot of noise. There is a stunt on heavy machinery. If you were to get more than 1 success, you could use a stunt to make it quiet. But if you don't get that, it might make quite a bit of noise as you wrench that metal. What would you like to do? Or you can just leave it alone.
Yeah, I think he might go over all of those options, maybe with the help of that. Like I'm assuming his watch is also like a calculator type thing, like those ones in high school. It's like, oh wow, it seems the most probable course would be for me to do what I was designed to do and use this bolt cutter to bolt gun, as you said, to break it open. I think secured here, we might not have to worry about the noise so much. Do you think that would work, boss?
You're muted. Grab a drink.
Grab a drink. Sorry. I think that is what we need to do. Absolutely. I mean, they didn't get into it. Maybe there's something in there that can defend us. Maybe there's something else, in there that we can use. Let's get that open. Just try and be as quiet as you can.
And then he just like leans in and whispers like, "Absolutely, boss."
Okay. I have complete confidence in you right now.
All right, so let's go ahead and set that up. So you're going for the bolt gun solution then, right?
Yep.
So, McWeir, go ahead and mark off an ammo on your bolt gun.
Absolutely.
And you're going to take your strength, which is 7. You add your heavy machinery, which is 3. So you're up to 10 base dice. You subtract 3 because it's so difficult, so you're down to 7. But then you add 2 because the bolt gun gives you +2 on heavy machinery rolls that it applies to. So I believe you are at 9 dice.
Yeah. Okay. Seems easier. Yeah. Hey. Ooh, pretty
Well,
good.
Look at that. Four sixes, right?
Yeah.
All right. So go to the rule summary, go down to heavy machinery, which is, where is that? Ooh, is it not here?
Oh, it's the first one.
First one.
Okay. Okay. And you got your list of stunts. You get 3 of them. So the first success is used to just succeed, and then you've got 3 extra successes, and each of those gives you a stunt. Go ahead and pick 3 of those.
Well, it seems you act quietly seems prudent. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
See, I probably don't want to break it permanently. I'll do it quickly.
Okay.
And I guess I don't know if it'll come up again, but looks like the most useful one would be you got this. You don't need to roll to overcome this exact thing in the future.
Okay. So we'll say for our purposes, if you're trying to open, it's pretty specific when you choose that one. So if you're trying to open a, armored cabinet with a bolt gun, again, you figured out exactly where to shoot the bolt and, pop that hinge and get it right open real quick. But yeah, you get that. You do it quickly. You do it quietly. Amazing. You guys all are just amazed by the strength of this person, creature, thing, depending on your attitude.
More unnerved, like.
Yeah. So he shoots the bolt in. He just, pushes on it and just pops this thing quietly. And inside you find, let's see. Inside you find, where is it? Here it is. You find a shotgun and a 357 Magnum revolver, and each of them are loaded, and each of them has 2 reloads. So you have a shotgun and a Magnum revolver.
Yeah, I think Holroyd will just take them and just kind of check on them and everything, and then just quietly walk over to the boss and hand them out. These can come in. These might be useful.
Ooh, I
Muted.
think you're muted, yeah.
I will turn to Sig, and I will hand Sig the shotgun, because the shotgun is probably a little bit easier to aim. And the Magnum's a heavier weapon than the service pistol. What is there any stat difference?
Yes. I think the service pistol weighs half, and I think the Magnum is a full 1 weight. If you go to the equipment tab of the character keeper, you can pull. You'll see the stats.
Yeah.
357 Magnum. It does more damage, but it weighs more, basically.
Okay.
The shotgun is accurate. It's short range. It does a lot of damage. Worth noting, it weighs 1. It actually is the same weight as the Magnum. Armor is doubled with a shotgun. The pellets don't have that penetrating power, so it's a wonderful weapon, but not great against armor.
I will hand the Magnum to Singleton, and I will say, give Holroyd your service pistol.
Okay. So you see this moment of but Singleton nods and says, "Okay, boss, I trust you." And then but I'm not looking at Holroyd while I do it, right? I'm just sort of handing the pistol over. So I will go ahead and copy it into your character keeper. Let's see. It has.
So you're going to go to under weapons. It says service pistol. You probably can just delete that or copy it over to Holroyd's weapons list. And also the reload. Yep.
The other thing I want to say is, Sig, why don't you have Holroyd carry your provisions?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think when Singleton hands the gun over, Holroyd's just looks at her and just like, "Oh, is this the normal trade for the granola bar I gave you?"
God.
And Singleton will like visibly pause for a moment and say, "Sure, if that's what you want to see it as."
And he's just like, "I love joking with you," and just like puts his gun in his pocket or overalls or something.
And for each of the new guns, go ahead and put 2 reloads in your gear list, just so we remember that.
Okay. Yeah, I put the 1
and
2.
Reloads don't have any weight, though. Okay, you guys go ahead and take care of that. So you've rested. Time has passed. Holroyd, since you did it quickly, you do have a little bit of extra time left before the rest of them are done resting. Is there anything else you wanted to do with that time?
Yeah, I can't really help de-stress people, can I?
No, only your buddy. Who's your buddy? Do you have a buddy? Oh, it's Hirsch, isn't it? Yeah. No, there's really nothing you can do.
Oh, I think he'll spend it just trying to de-stress people in vain. Just like, wow, do you remember the weather outside? It was very rainy. Small talk is fun. Do you have children? What are your financial future seems like? Do you have savings? I love cars. Like that kind of stuff.
This reminds me of that Twitter viral thing of, what's his name? Commander Riker from Star Trek, when they spliced all those openings of that show. Like all this horrible small talk.
Did you guess this? No.
Okay, so the time has passed. You're a little calmer. Do you want to stay and calm down more? Or are you ready to move out?
We gotta move. Now we gotta move.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Okay.
But I am going to take the time to calm down McQueer. Just so that... Yeah. Just so that we have that. Because you're still pretty high. Yeah, I'm just going to take the moment to say, boss, I'm not sure about that thing, but I'm sure about you, so just know that I've got your back.
I will say this. I trust him more than I trust the person we're about to go rescue.
That's true. And then I look at the motion detector that shows 2, but I don't say anything. Like, I'm just like looking at it. And I go, right.
Yeah, and then I also, David, if you want to mark the food and water up to 5, because I handed you my food and water. And I also want to take this opportunity to, I think Sig would probably just kind of, while we're resting, be huddled up in his lab coat, thinking fondly of the future that he hoped to see, of working in a prestigious laboratory somewhere.
Sure.
And so interacting with that to reduce my stress.
Okay. All right, so you guys go back. You can have the same setup where McWeir and Sig are leading the way now, and Holroyd and Singleton are bringing up, they're bringing up the rear. McWeir and Sig in the front.
Did my panic effect go away from the rest? Okay.
Yes. That goes away after a turn, or if somebody calms you down. So time has passed, and you're not trembling any longer. Okay, you all feel considerably better. You got a drink. You got some good jokes. Huddled in your security blanket lab coat for a while. and you make your way back in the hallway, and I assume you're going to take a right turn and leave B block, go over the short walkway, the elevated walkway, and enter into E block. E block is open. It the door is closed, but you can just push the button and open it. It doesn't have any security lockdown. You enter into E block. Are you moving quietly or quickly now?
Quietly.
Quietly. Okay. You move quietly into E block, and you see here there is various satchels and stuff laying on, and carts laying in the hallway, as you've seen in other places. You see mixed amongst them, like bandages, sterile gauze, nothing obviously useful to you. You could spend time and pour through the stuff on the ground if you wanted to, but clearly there's, some medical stuff mixed in with the detritus here. The hallway, you have to go pretty much all the way down the hallway to get to the entrance of the med block, or the med lab. If you go beyond the med lab, then you enter into ops, the command center. That's where the main computer is. That's usually where the staff would be running the station day to day. But the med lab is before that. You make your way down there, and you pick up a signal. Or are you running the kind of gave it away, but are you running the motion tracker, Singleton? Go ahead and
all the time.
make another power roll then.
Okay.
A turn is passed. We'll make another roll.
Okay, so that's, let me double check. I'm at 3 now?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take the remaining 3 here. Oops, sorry. Am I moving stuff? Whoops. Okay. Okay, re-rolling. Yeah, 5, 3, 5.
Okay, so you're good. No power is used up. The signal you're picking up is on the first floor of E block. I've added another little crosshair there, and it's inside what's called the boiler room. There's a lot of mechanical stuff there, including the boiler, and it moves out of the boiler into the hallway, and it starts moving slowly north up that hallway as you're watching it. As you're moving down south on the floor above, you see it moving down that hallway, stopping, turning around, and coming back, down the hallway back the other way.
Wait, so this is like a floor below? Is
It's right below you guys. In fact, like directly below where you're at.
Is it like, is the floors below? Like,
you can't tell.
Okay, but like below.
You don't hear anything.
Okay. I show like I hold up a hand quietly, and I'm like showing it to everybody just to let them know, and then taking out the magnum also. Like, just
Jamie asked if Sig wanted to check the main computer too. If you guys want to go back and say that Sig wanted to monkey with the computer, you can do that if you want, or we can move on.
I think move on. I think Sig is prioritizing the rescue mission first, and then computer later.
Okay. So you guys reach the door to MedLab. You want to go inside, push the button, and
No.
Okay.
I want to open up the comm.
All right.
And do the text like, "Hey, answer."
She picks up almost immediately. She's coughing, and you hear her kind of coughing and sputtering and spitting for a second, and she goes, "Are you almost here? I don't have much time. That thing? It came through here. It came through. I think it could smell me. It's impossible. I'm in the quarantine booth. It's impossible. How could it smell me?"
Is there another person in the med lab with you? Is there another creature in the med lab with you? Or is it just you?
Yes, there's one of those spider things that go on people's faces and implant whatever it is they implant.
I'm sorry. What the fuck did you just say?
No, just look. Whoever you are, settle down. It's in a tank. It's secured. It's alive. The poor sucker died removing it, but it's alive.
I say,
You know.
okay, okay. Yeah, we're here. We're about to come in, okay?
Okay, good. Hurry. Watch out.
I turn the comm off and I turn to them and I say, these corporate assholes, I'm going to put a bullet in their head. We're going to get that key card and then
I think that might be best. The fact that they had that thing, it could be entirely their fault.
spider thing, calm down. Mm. Beep, 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 beep. We'll open the door.
Okay. You open the door and you see the med lab. And the med lab's pretty sizable. There's a lot of beds and stuff here, usually short-term and also long-term care. Everything in the med lab proper has been tossed. It looks like people came through here and ransacked it, but also there was a battle here. There's blood on a lot of the beds on the floor. A lot of the beds have big claw marks, have ripped up the stuffing. And as I mentioned, all the cabinets have been forced open. A lot of the stuff is on the ground. It's a big mess. The far end of the med lab, there's a big window that allows you to see into the quarantine area. There's also a very secure door, armored door, kind of similar to what you had at the armory. And you can see through the window, you can see the quarantine area. There's what's called a med pod. A med pod is a automated medical device where the person lays on I guess gurney is not the word, but they lay on a bed and it sort of slides them into this machine. The machine does diagnostics, it does surgical care. It's able to do a lot of medical care. There's one of those there, and lying on the bed is a person who seems to at least be unconscious, a man. He's in a medical gown, and this woman, Comiskey, you probably recognize her. You probably all crossed paths with her at some point in the last week or so. She's standing before this bed, and she's kind of leaning on it, and she's got the communicator in her hand, and she's kind of like retching, like kind of dry heaving down on the ground. And in the room also to the left, to your left as you look in, there's a large medical cabinet, a locked medical cabinet. To the right, there's a large medical freezer unit. And beside that unit, you can see that there's these tanks of Freon, this cooling agent. And beside Comiskey, there's a surgical cart, and you can see that there's surgical tools laid out on this cart, and there's also several vials of some sort of medication sitting there. And you can see that there's syringes, amongst the kit or amongst the surgical kit that are, in their sterile bags, but there's also a syringe that's sitting out. So she sees you come in, and she comes immediately to the window, and she pushes an intercom. She says, hurry, open the door. I got to get out of here. I don't have much time.
The other key card is broken. Do you have the key card?
She holds it up to the, to the window. She, you can see it. She has it on a lanyard around her neck. She goes, yes, but you need it to open the door. One of you is going to have to hack this thing.
Wait, do we see that face hugger thing in the tank?
Yeah. There's one of them dead laying on the ground, kind of like beside the bed with the guys, lying on it. And then there's another one that's very much alive, kind of swooshing around inside a tank, which is full of some sort of fluid, presumably to, keep it secure. And it's sort of a glass tank. And you can see beside the glass tank, it's probably about 2.5 feet high. And there's sort of like a circular metal like cover that goes over the tank, so you could kind of like secure it and carry it if you wanted to. but nobody would want to do that.
Meaning they've been carrying that thing around.
You could. Maybe that's how they brought it in there. Who knows?
They
Okay,
want
okay.
to carry it out of here.
So she's insisting that you get the door open and we got to get out of here. Let's go.
We need the key card, boss.
What are our options? I turn to Sig and I move Sig away from the window. What are our options for dealing with that quarantine thing?
Well, I mean, we could try to hack it.
No, that's not what I mean.
Oh.
I'm not entirely enthused about opening up a quarantine thing with a person who's just been hacking up their lungs. Do we have containment gear? Can we gas her? What are our options here?
I mean, maybe from the computer.
Why don't you take a look and see what our options are on that score? Let's look around and see if we can get any kind of containment or protective gear here. Anything, suits or masks or something.
Okay. And Sig, you wanted to check the computer here?
Yeah, to see if I have any options for really doing anything with the quarantine.
Okay. So there's a quick answer to that. Unfortunately, this computer is connected to the main computer, and it's, again, you had the same problem you had when you first entered the base. It's down. You can boot it locally, but the connection to the network is down, so you don't really get anything by doing so. You would have to restart the server from ops next door, probably, to have any chance of getting anything off of this. In terms of looking around, go ahead and somebody make an observation check. As I said before, usually you want the person with the best observation to make this roll, but if you don't want to risk panic, you can have someone else do it if you want. And if is all three of the rest of you going to look around for stuff, or does someone else want to do something while they're doing that?
Well, I'm pretty good at opening these locked doors now, right?
The quarantine lock door?
Yeah, there were some locked compartments. You said, right? Or did I make that up?
That's on the inside in the quarantine area. There's a
Gotcha.
There's a locked cabinet, and then there's a freezer unit, but that's on inside the quarantine area.
Gotcha.
Looking out here would be basically going through all of the junk that's been thrown around and hoping to find what you're looking for.
I'm going to try and do that.
Okay. So you're going to make an observation check.
Yes,
And who's going to help out then doing that? Holroyd. It's basically Holroyd and Singleton. Actually, Sig too, because it only takes you a second to realize, I'm not going to be able to get this computer going. So who wants to help? That'll give him an extra die. You can get up to 3 extra dice from assisting.
Yeah?
Okay.
I guess I'll help also.
Sure.
Okay. Clicking all these dice. Here we go. Well, look at that. Look at all those ones not on the panic dice. That's
Wow.
3 successes.
That's great.
Amazing.
So I'll say 1 die finds you something.
Okay.
The second 6 will find you what you're looking for. So you do indeed find, we'll say you find 1 sort of containment suit that's intact. It hasn't been ripped and damaged. And you have a third 6. You could roll on the table just to find some random thing. Or if you want a second containment suit, I'll give that to you with that third 6.
Let's get a second containment suit.
Okay.
I'll hand one of the containment suits to Singleton. And I'll hand the other containment suit to Sig. I'll say, all right, guys, let's get this. I say, And this is one of those lean in close so that the person in quarantine can't hear kind of thing. Facing away, I say, we're going to open that up. We're going to get that key card away from her. I do not like the looks of the coughing. If there's anything weird, if she gives us any hints of anything hanky or off or wrong, you have full permission to light her up.
And just to clarify, like there were rumors about one of those things coming out of a person, right? Like I remember that was
Yes.
established in the.
You
Okay,
guys.
so we have full reason to be suspicious.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I haven't said that because I don't even want to imagine
Yeah, yeah.
that yet.
But like that's like hanging. It's like an alien-sized elephant between us.
Yes,
Got it.
yes,
Got
yes,
it.
and as well as the guy who's laying on that cart.
Mhm.
It's not moving.
That's right. Okay. It is time again to make a power roll for the motion tracker.
Okay. I'm still at 3. Just double checking.
Yes.
Yeah. B. Okay. 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 I will take some dice here because I'm scared of all those ones that Lowell rolled.
They were pretty bad.
Okay. 224.
Okay. So you're good on power. That signal that
Sorry.
you were picking up on the first floor right underneath you, it goes down the hallway, back into the boiler room, and then it disappears.
Okay. Okay.
You wanted to open the door then, so you can wrench it open again using the bolt gun and probably having Holroyd just power his way open, or you can try to hack it. This door is not as high security that you wouldn't have the minuses on the Comtech roll. You would have some minuses on the wrenching it open roll. It's up to you how you want to do it. Who was it they had the suits on, by the way? I missed that.
Singleton and Sig.
Okay.
So maybe we have Holroyd hack it. That way one of us doesn't have to be right next to the door, just in case.
I like that. Or can you do that?
Oh, absolutely, boss.
Okay. And the rest of you are kind of standing back with your guns trained in that direction? Okay. Holroyd, you're going to make a Comtech check. You're going to make it straight up. You have your electronic tools. You'll get a +1 for that. Otherwise, I think those are the only modifiers.
That's not bad. I think I'm still at a 7. I'm counting correctly. No 6s though.
Okay. So the way this game works is you only get one shot at things unless you come up with something that improves your chances. If you found a code or something or a better hacking tool, maybe. The only other alternative you have, since androids can't push, is you could use your story point to get this door open. Otherwise, you're going to kind of be stuck. Or you could. I will let you go ahead and just be like, oh, I can't hack it, but I'll go ahead and try to wrench it open. With the bolt gun.
Yeah, I feel that might be the better choice.
Okay.
This is beyond my ability. I might have to do what I was designed for.
Okay. So McWeir, take off an ammo off your bolt gun.
Tell bad jokes.
This is going to be this is going to be a little bit easier than the other door. It's not as well. No, let's make it the same as the last one. So I remember that was 9 dice. You have 9 dice for your heavy machinery roll now to just kind of, physically wrench this open.
Oh, does he still have to roll, or is it considered like the same door as before? Or is it a different type of door?
Same door as the armory door, you mean?
Yeah. Because I remember he got the option like he won't have to roll again. Is that right? Am I missing something?
No, I said that was like a secured like cabinet kind of thing. Again, it's a very specific stunt.
Right.
You can't apply it to anything
And this
that
one's more of a
doesn't.
door situation.
This is more of a door, yeah. So no,
Got it.
Still pretty good odds.
Yeah.
I'll say before rolling. I don't know why I did that. Okay, yeah, I got some sixes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so you got 3 of them.
Yeah,
You probably would want to go ahead and use one of your stunts to make it quiet, I imagine, right?
that sounds like.
And you can go ahead and look at the sheet if you want to pick another one. Before you picked go quickly, get it done in half the time. There's some other ones there.
Oh yeah, I'll get the +1 if I do something related to this later.
Okay.
And then quietly and quickly, I think.
Okay. You get 2 stunts. You got 3 successes. Am I right? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So
Yeah.
you got 1 success, 1 for the success, and then you get 2 stunts. So you want quietly and quickly, or do you want the +1 later and quietly?
I'll just do quietly and quickly.
Okay. So you pop it open again. Is incredible strength, shows off again, and the door pops open, and she comes running out, and she says, "Oh God, we got to go. Let's go. Come on."
Do we want to observe her?
I point the gun at her and I say, "Hand me the key card."
What are you talking about? I'll go with you. You need me. I'm the only one that can open that door. I'm the only one that can get that ship open.
Does that sound right to me?
What do you think? There's not really a read a person in this.
No.
It's up to you.
I think I look at her and I say, "I'm going to ask you one more time. Hand me the key card."
Okay, we're going to have an opposed manipulation check here. She's trying to convince. Well, first you're trying to convince her to give you the card.
Yes.
And then if you fail, she's going to try to convince you to just take her and get.
Sure. I will take the leverage besides numbers of having a gun in my hand.
Yeah. Are the rest of you visibly on McWeir's side in this battle of wills? Yes. So he has numbers that gives him a +1. So you get a +1 for numbers. Let's see, giving you the card. It's clear that she thinks it's going to cost her something. I won't give you that one. She hasn't suffered any damage. You have helped her. I'll give you another 1. I think the pistol is a good argument. I'll give you a +1 for that. You're asking her for something valuable or dangerous. We'll take away 1. So I think overall you're up 2 dice, I think, from negotiating position. So you're going to roll your manipulation, and then she's going to roll her manipulation.
Here we go. That is 1 6 on 12 dice. However, no 1s on the stress dice.
Great. She did not get any 6s. You convince her. She falls to her knees, and she starts to sob and sort of hyperventilate, and she takes the card and she throws it and says, "Fine, take it. What did you do to Reynolds? Just tell me, what did you do to Reynolds? Was it you? I know she must be dead. I can tell."
I say, "Well, I'm not the one who bored something into the top of her head and tore it open. But that's what we saw. So get up off your knees, start walking. Let's go."
And she does. She sees you say that about Reynolds being killed that way, and she gets a strange look in her eye, and she sobs, but she does pull herself up and kind of hang dogs, along with you guys.
I say, "You know what killed her? whoever or whatever brought these things in here.
And I think with that, I want to analyze the one in the tank over there.
Okay. So Sig, you're going to wander over to the one on the tank. So again, there's a couple cabinets or there's a freezer and a cabinet in here. There's a guy on the table. There's a surgical table by the med pod with a couple medicine bottles sitting next to it. There's some Freon tanks sitting in off to the side. Anyone else want to check things out while Sig goes and looks at this creature in the tank? There's also a dead one on the ground.
I'll leave Holroyd to help with that because I want to lean into Singleton and I'll say, you're gonna have to fly that ship. Can you fly that ship?
I can fly anything, boss.
Okay.
But are we sure about keeping her alive?
We'll worry about that when we get closer. We just have to run faster than her. You know. But look, here's what I want to say. That I trust. Holroyd might, I don't know. But you, so we've got to keep you alive. Okay?
Okay, but you're important too, boss.
Oh, well, let's see what happens. Sig, you done playing with your pet spider over there?
Yeah, basically I'm an Overwatch after that. Like while like McQueer is talking to me, I'm looking at her, like I'm in case there's any coughing or anything coming out of any orifice or just,
Okay.
or making a new one, just in case.
It's going to take Sig a little while. It's going to take him a turn to check out this thing.
And I did my
Turns are pretty long,
roll.
right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll go ahead and remember we'll get back. Just remember what you rolled. Did you panic at all?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and no successes.
Oh boy. We'll come back to that. McWeir and Holroyd, what did you want to do, if anything, while he's checking that out? Singleton's on Overwatch, checking on Comiskey.
I think that I'm just kind of standing by, like, okay, finish up Sig so we can get out of here. Let's get going.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'll try to check if there's anything useful. I don't know if I guess like these canisters of medicine or something.
Sure.
You good?
You see there's a surgical kit, which is a piece of equipment that has two purposes. One is if someone's dying, it gives you a plus on that roll to save them from dying. And in addition, it has like a scalpel that you can use as a knife. And the bottles, one of them is it's a sedative of some sort. You don't really have a lot of medical knowledge, I don't think, so you don't really know what it is. But it's a sedative of some sort. The other bottle is a pharmaceutical called Naproleve, which is an extremely expensive and powerful pain reliever. It takes away all of your pains, emotional and physical. It's very powerful. Both bottles are about half full. Mechanically, Naproleve, if you got a full dose of it, it would take away all your stress. But if you use it more than once a day, there's bad things that happen.
Perfect.
Do you want to do anything with that? Leave it, pocket it, use it?
Yeah. Well, I guess Sig's in the corner analyzing this thing, so he might go over to the boss and just like show him or show her like these could be quite valuable. All of you seem rather bedraggled.
Why don't you give me those?
Absolutely, boss.
I will take those.
Okay. You just want to pocket him, or are you gonna?
Yeah,
Let,
pocket it for a second until we see Sig flip his lid in a second here.
okay. You'd probably. I'll
Like it's
assume
happening at the same time.
you
Like,
grab a syringe too, because you would need to inject this. All right. Sig, go ahead and make that panic check for us.
Okay.
Just roll that green down. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, 6. Okay, so that's a 9 total.
All right. A 9 is you drop an item, whether by stress, confusion, or the realization that you're all going to die anyway. You drop a weapon or other important item. Your stress level increases by 1. Well,
oh no,
the obvious thing to drop.
Oh no.
So you're looking at this. You're looking at the chart that's laying next to it, trying to figure out what this thing is. Let me ask first before, do you want to use your story point to make it a success, or do you want to live with the failure? You can't push it because you got stress or you got a panic.
I think I want to just take the failure.
Okay. So, in addition, whenever a scientist fails an analysis roll, the other humans around them gain a point of stress. Is that right? So McWeir and
Yeah.
Singleton go ahead and gain a point of stress because it's stressful to see that the scientist can't figure this thing out. And you turn, with the chart in your hand to tell them, you don't know what this thing is. And of course, in this bulky, suit that you put on, you're not used to it, and you knock the glass tube right over, and of course it smashes open. And we have to go to initiative.
We go into initiative when he dropped the shotgun. Oh my god. Okay.
He didn't drop the shotgun. He dropped.
Yeah.
He knocked over the tube.
Okay, so that's better.
Yeah.
You still have
The glass tube. He still got the shotgun sitting there in his hand. Yeah.
That's not so bad then.
Yeah.
I guess in terms of like how bad things could be.
So, with my, we go to the roll for your party. What I think I'm going to do, I think maybe it'll work if I just am the only one that pulls the cards.
Sure.
So I'm going to pull 6 cards.
Okay.
The first 4 will be for you guys in the order McWeir, Singleton, Sig, and Holroyd. Okay, same as the character sheet. And then the last 2 will be for this creature. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to pull 6 cards. Maybe it's not going to work. Let me see. No, it doesn't seem to be working. I don't know why.
Even one at a time?
Let me try that. One, yeah, it worked. McWeir, you're going last. You got a 10.
Deja vu. Slow and stumpy feet.
Yeah, I don't know. Now it won't let me pull another one though. I don't know what the problem is, but it's wonky for sure. I'm just going to select regular cards, and we'll just have to work our way through face cards and stuff. Let's see. Submit. All right. We'll ignore the 10. So Singleton, you get a 4. Holroyd, you get a 1. So you're going to go first. And we'll pull some more cards. Sig, you get a 9. And the alien creature gets a 7 and a 2. All right. So the first thing that happens is you guys have the option of shuffling your order. Right now, Holroyd is going first, then Singleton, then Sig, then McWeir, but you guys can shuffle that however you please.
I
I'm
think
fine
that's
going
pretty
last.
good. And Holroyd has the pistol, right? That's not bad, actually. Us two going first.
Oh, would Kaminsky be in this mix too?
She's kind of useless. She's not
Yeah,
really going to do anything.
that's kind of what I figured.
I'm assuming she's just screeching in the background. Or
Yeah, pretty
something.
much. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. She's been through a lot.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start then. So Holroyd, you're going to go first. So you get a fast action and a slow action. You're kind of on the other side of the quarantine. Yeah, you were talking to McWeir. Suddenly you hear a crash. You turn, and here's this spidery creature starting to, scuttle, moving towards probably Sig. We'll find out in a minute. What would you like to do? So a slow action is like usually it's a dice roll of some sort, and a fast action is something quick, pulling something out, running, various things. There's a list of actions on the alien rule summary somewhere in there.
On page 4, yeah.
4, okay.
Starts 4 and goes to 5, yeah.
Okay.
I'm like nervously reviewing it right now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I doubt I had my gun drawn, so I'd probably do that as my fast action and then probably just shoot it.
Okay. So you're going to draw a gun and shoot it. You have the pistol, is that right? The service pistol?
Right, yeah.
So you're going to do a ranged combat. So you're going to take your ranged combat skill, which is off of agility, add those together. The pistol gives you +1 die, so you add 1 die for that. It is dim in here, so you're going to lose 1 die. And then you roll.
Right, so I think I am at 7 then, still.
Okay. Yep. Agility, range combat. Yep, that looks right.
Got 1/6.
Okay. So 1/6 does your base damage, which for the pistol I think is 1, right? So you're going to do 1 damage to this thing. I'll mark that down. And when you shoot it, you hit it in its body, and this green acidic substance comes squirting out. And unfortunately, Sig is standing right there. So I'm going to make a roll to see if you get any acid on you. I do get 1. So you're got 1 point of acidic damage potentially coming at you, Sig. You get to roll, first of all, to see if your armor will stop it from getting to your skin. I will say that this containment suit, maybe it's a little resistant to caustic substances. So we'll say it has 2 armor. So you're going to roll 2 dice straight up. You're looking for 6s. Any 6 you get will take away 1 of those points of damage. So you only need 1 6 to take no damage.
No 6s.
Okay. You take 1 point of damage. So you go to your character sheet under your health, and you don't have a lot of that, but you go down 1.
I'm now at 1.
And at the beginning of the next round,
oh my gosh.
at the beginning of the next round, I'll roll again to see if it continues to burn. So Sig, 5 dice, acid. Okay. Next up is the creature. It's got a wonderful target standing right there. It's been looking at you this whole time you were examining it, and it's just looking forward to jumping on your face. So with the xenomorphs, what you do is you roll a 6-sided die to see what kind of attack it does upon you. You want to roll low.
1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
2.
That's good. Skittering menace. The facehugger has chosen its host, and they know it's coming for them. It skitters forward, single-minded and horrifyingly spider-like. You suffer 1 extra point of stress, and you must make an immediate panic roll.
Oh my god.
So you take a point of stress, add that to your pool, and roll, roll that panic die.
So that's an 11 total.
Oh boy. 11. 11 is seek cover. You must use your next action to move away from danger and find a safe spot if possible. You are allowed to make a retreat roll if you have an enemy at engaged range. Your stress levels are decreased by 1.
Oh,
You know,
that's pretty good.
the desire to run away reduces your stress, but the stress level of all friendly PCs in short range increases by 1. So McWeir and Singleton gain a point of stress.
Oh gosh, you're at
After
short
one
range.
round, you can act normally. So when it gets to be your turn, Sig, you're going to have to run and hide behind something, and then
Well, that was the plan.
next round you'll be okay, kind of. So that's the creature. We can go on to the next person, which is Singleton.
Shooting, yeah, for sure. So I'm looking
And
at the moves. It's 1 slow action and 1 fast or 2 fast. Is that right?
1 slow and 1 fast, or 2 fast.
Okay. So I'm definitely going to. Can I shoot it from where I am?
Sure.
Because I did have the gun out. So, but.
And if you want to use your fast action, they have something called aiming. That gives you 2 extra dice.
Okay, I see it.
Or
now.
you can save that for later or do something else with your fast action. But
No, I'm definitely going to aim.
all right, so you're going to take your agility
Yeah.
plus your ranged combat skill plus 2 dice for aiming plus 1 die for the pistol. You have the Magnum, right?
Yes.
And I think then minus 1 die because it's dim.
Yeah. So I'm at 9.
Okay. And then all your stress dice.
2, which I've been collecting just recently. Like I
Oh,
was
yeah.
kind of okay for a while, but okay. So that's 9 and 3 stress. This is actually my first time rolling stress. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3 stress. Okay. Selecting all of these babies. Praying at the same time. Okay. All right. Oh my god. I did not get a single 6.
Okay.
Oh god. But I didn't get a 1 on the panic, so.
Yep. You have 3 options. You can
Okay.
just let it ride. You can push it, which means you would gain another stress and you'd re-roll all your dice, all the dice that are not 6s. Or you can use a story point.
I think I'll gain the stress.
Okay.
Let me put that down. I'll re-roll.
Yep.
So I'm at 4 stress.
And you have that reckless talent, which allows you can
To do it up
push
to 3
twice
times. Yeah.
in an agility task, on agility skill rolls.
Okay. Re-rolling. Okay, I have a panic, but I also have 2 6s.
Yep. So
let me do the panic first.
That's right. That's right.
So re-rolling the panic. 1. Okay.
Okay, that's not bad.
Thank the Lord Jesus. Okay.
And your stress that's a total of 5 then, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so you hold it together, nothing happens. You ended up with what? 2 6s? Yes. So you get your base damage, which with this pistol is 2 points of damage. And I will tell you that is enough to kill this. So we really don't need to worry about the stunt.
Okay.
Oh, it does have armor though. Not much though.
Okay, let's see first. Yeah, you have to roll first.
Well, usually.
I have to say, even though Singleton's I'm panicking, Jammy is
let's
like...
one of the stunts is do an extra point of damage. So we'll assume that you're doing that. So you're really doing 3 points of damage. I have to get. I think it has 2 armor. I'd have to get 6s on both of these. So it's not likely. I got 1 6, but it's still not enough to save it. So it dies. But
the sticky
but
blood.
the acid squirts out onto Sig again.
Oh no, but wasn't Sig trying to get? Oh no.
He didn't get a go yet. Sig, I got no 6s. It misses you. The acid misses you. The creature dies. The acid starts burning in the ground. It gives out a high-pitched squeal as it dies. You hear a scream behind you, and you see Comiskey is fallen to the ground, and she's convulsing. She's like ripping at her chest, and just something bad is happening to her. You don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I just scream like,
She's out of her
get out
mind.
of the way.
She's in the quarantine area. You guys are all in the quarantine area still. What do you want to do?
Okay. Who's next? Oh my gosh. Wait, that combat section is over, right?
Yes, we're out of
So
combat.
Okay. I'm gonna shoot her. Like I'm gonna shoot her. Sorry. You're muted.
I'm muted. Oh my god. Get out of the quarantine. Get out of the quarantine.
And then. Okay. Yeah. We can do that. Yeah. That's a better idea.
Lowell or McWeir runs out of the quarantine. Sig, that's exactly what you wanted. You want to get as far out. You want to get out of here as much as possible. Holroyd, what are you doing?
I think he takes out the surgical kit that he has, but after the boss says to leave, he just it's like, okay, we could, okay, sure, and just kind of follow suit. But then like, Sig, maybe we could, and then seeing Sig in like the corner, I assume it's like, oh no.
Okay, and Singleton, what did you want to shoot or did you want to run out?
Run out first. Yeah.
Okay.
Like in quarantine. Yeah.
Okay, and then you're gonna spin around and shoot or something, if needed.
Yes. So it's like try to close it and overwatch, basically.
Close the door to the quarantine.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sig was probably the last one out. So you're holding the door. Sig runs out. You hear her give off one last scream that cuts off in the middle, and you hear a loud cracking sound coming from her body. Singleton, you look back, ready to shoot her, and you see something pushing its way out of her chest. A head of this whitish, phallic-looking figure comes popping out. It's got big metallic teeth. It's small. It's a little snaky-looking thing. You have to make a panic roll.
Okay.
You don't gain stress, but you have to make a panic roll.
All right. So just my pure. Ooh, look at all these. So that's 4 dice. Oh no, just the panic roll.
Just a panic roll. Just the green die.
Just the green die. Sorry, I'm stalling as I move the dice back. Okay, re-rolling. 1. 6. Shit.
All right. So you have 4 stress now. Is that right? Singleton, you have 4 stress. Is that right? So you have 10 total on that roll.
Yes.
You freeze. You were supposed to close the door, but you freeze. Your stress level and the stress level of all friendly PCs goes up by 1. So McWeir and Sig are waiting for you to slam the door shut, and for some reason, she stops. She doesn't shut the door. What the hell? You hear something horrible going on in there, and your stress builds up. I'll give you each 1 action. What do you want to do before something happens?
Shut that door.
You want to reach over and grab it yourself, McWeir?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to peek a glimpse inside, or you avert your gaze?
No, I don't.
You slam the door, and you hear a scuttling, wet sound moving towards you on the ground, but you don't look. You just slam the door, and something kind of slams into the door, but you shut it in time. You're going to pop that surgical thing?
Yep.
To yourself or to Singleton?
Singleton.
Okay. Singleton, this is only a half dose, but it does immediately reduce your stress by 3.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Oh. Yeah.
So go ahead.
Like I'm shaking and I think you can see that she's trying to talk, but at the same time she doesn't want McWeir to panic, so she's just trying to make a bad joke. She's like, well, at least we don't have to worry about her anymore.
Sig, are you okay?
Thank you. Like whatever that was. I feel. I'm sorry I froze. Yeah, I'm
You
okay.
just-
I'm okay.
Just calm down. Turn to Sig. Sig, are you okay?
Uh, I mean, I'm alive.
Can the med kit that you have handle that acid damage?
Yeah, I think so.
Then let's get you patched up and then let's get the F out of here.
Yeah, what do I have to roll for the med kit or to try to use the med kit?
First of all, I forgot, that reminded me to roll for the first acid that hit you to see if it caused more damage. It did not, so it burned out, luckily. In this game, you actually don't heal until you're broken. Any damage short of being broken just represents being winded or scratched or just kind of bumped. So you're still ready to roll. It's when you get down to 0 health, that's when the first aid would come into play.
Okay.
If you find a chance to rest for a turn, you would heal one of those that point back, but that's to be seen if that'll happen. Speaking of which, Singleton, make another power roll for your motion detector.
Okay, it's 3. Double checking. Yes. Okay. Rolling 3 dice. Okay, it stays. Yeah, no ones.
You pick up 2 signals moving. One, two, yeah, 2. So first of all, let's see. Let me get to the right place. Okay. Is this right? Yeah. So that signal that moved into the boiler room, it comes alive. It's starting to move fairly quickly, and it's moving. It's moving sort of back to where there's a stairwell over here. It's not there yet, but it's moving pretty much a direct line to that stairwell. Do you guys see that? It's on the first floor in E block. There's a red crosshair I just put in. You got it? The another one is moving. It's crossing into B block. Again, this one actually, no, this one actually is going to be on the second floor. This one's on the second floor, moving into B block. Let me move your guys' symbol. You guys are down in the med bay now. So this one's on the second floor, moving into B block. It too is moving at a pretty good pace.
Where is the ship from where we're at?
If you go to the overview slide, it's the first one. You guys are down in the southern part of the base in E block.
Oh, gosh,
The landing pad is way up in the northwest.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to say, guys. Let's run, get to the casino, bust out through there, hit the ground, and make a run for the landing pad.
Yeah, we don't have a choice at this point.
Yeah, let's get moving.
Okay. You guys are going to move down the hallway, take a left turn, go over that walkway, that elevated walkway into the casino, downstairs, out through the door, and then across the field to the landing pad. That's
Yep,
the
that's
plan.
exactly what we did. I'm glad you described it, and we must have done it. Okay, so when we get to the landing pad,
And you're moving quickly, I take it. Stealth time is over. All right.
Okay, before we do that, I'm gonna try to lower your stress again.
You can only do it once per session
Yeah.
as your
that's
buddy.
right.
You could interact. You guys could take a
Okay.
moment to interact with your signature item if you want, as you're running along.
I'm kissing my ID card.
Okay, that's right.
Okay.
You know, it's like your union membership card, because I know
Yeah.
you're not really. It's not a corporate
Yeah,
card.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and if you do that, reduce your stress. You want to interact with your dinosaur, Singleton, or are you okay?
Let's see. I'm at 2 right now. I think that's okay. Question mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can save that for later. All right, so you guys make your way down the hallway. you know, you got the beep, beep, beep. The one creature or the one signal on your it's moved now up into the second floor. It's
Isn't that where we are? We're on the second floor. Is that right? Am I just?
Yeah.
yeah. So it moves to there. This other one, it seems like you should see it in the hallway as you guys are moving out here. I'm going to move these off. So you're out in this hallway. You should see this thing, but you don't see anything.
Oh,
Like you guys to make an observation check.
okay. So everybody makes it.
No, just one person.
Okay. Okay.
And we'll give you one extra die. We'll assume someone else is on the lookout that maybe can help with this. So whoever makes the roll gets one extra die from a helper.
Yeah, I will.
But
help my
you lose a die because it's dim.
Yeah, I can just help out.
I will make that roll, Sig, since you took the hit for the acid bath and stuff. Okay.
Okay.
So that's 6 ends up being, and then let's see. Oh God, there's so much stuff on the table now.
Oh, sorry. Was that my stuff?
It's all these cards.
It's getting attention time. This dice, everything's getting messy.
6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, that one showed a 1. Let's take this one that showed a 6. Sorry, I'm about
Yeah,
to be
you can't
super-
trust the ones that show ones or twos.
Yeah.
I gave it
So
to Richard.
one extra die for a helper, but then minus one die because it's dim. Can't see that well.
All right, here we go. Look at that. I got a 6 and nothing on the stress dice.
Wow, that's real good. All right.
They were like the 2 ones on the normal dice. That is so scary.
I gotta roll some dice here. Okay. You're moving along quickly down this hallway, and you see there's a overhead vent, a circular vent above you, right at that crossroads there. And you see this slime, this clear slime kind of dripping from that vent down to the ground. And this signal on your motion tracker goes dead, or it disappears. This one is moving more quietly or slowly now, but it's going to come around the corner behind you real soon. What do you guys do?
Do we still see the other one from the boiler room? It's still coming up.
Yes, it's at the bottom of E block there, up on the second floor. It's it's moving slowly down towards this main hallway behind you.
Then I say, we keep moving forward, and I shout to Holroyd, it's up there in the vent. We're going to have to run past it. Cover us.
Absolutely, boss.
Okay. Who's going to run first?
Me.
Okay.
Oh my god.
What I would like to do, I'm going to do this quicker than the game usually would have you do it, but we're going to have you just make a mobility roll, all right? And we'll do similar to what we do with stealth. We'll give you a +1 die for someone who's actually good at moving around, helping you to kind of avoid, being right underneath this hole. All right.
Yep.
Go ahead and make that roll.
Yeah, I can help my agility. My mobility is pretty good, so.
So the good news is 3 successes.
Okay, but the bad news?
None.
Oh.
Oh.
You're actually rolling very well.
Oh
all right. I'm gonna make. I'm going to make a observation roll. 7, 8, 9, 10.
My palms are like so sweaty.
I know.
I'm just like tripping all over the.
And I only got 2 successes. So this thing, somehow you manage to kind of like edge around this hole, and this slime is dripping there, and it doesn't see you. It just nothing happens. You're able to continue. You hear a screaming, hissing, unearthly sound coming from behind you, and you turn. Maybe you don't turn. You just probably just keep going, don't you? And you start to hear something large moving quickly down the hallway behind you, after you.
Like it's
I
really
presume
going after him.
it's
Alright.
back to your map. If that one that was coming down behind you has gone around the corner, and it's probably seen you, kind of sneaking past this hole. All right. So you guys, unless you tell me otherwise, go ahead.
So where am I at that point?
You were probably like sneaking around the corner to go down that hallway to Tannen's Casino, right? Moving this way.
Yeah.
You're on the second floor, so you probably like got around that kitty corner there, and made your way down that hallway, avoiding that vent. This other thing is moving quickly down the hallway towards you guys.
So the other group has to come running through, right?
Right.
Okay. Then I turn and put my gun out to cover them as they come through. Horde and I trying to cover.
Okay. You guys move through. I'll just go ahead and just say you get through there. There is a door there. I imagine you want to hit the button to close that door.
Yeah.
It's not a super heavy door, but maybe it'll buy you some time. There's a little window there, and moments later you hear a loud thump as something rams into the door, and you see the door start to bend towards you. You know, something is bending the door in towards you. You guys gonna move it down that hallway? Okay. I'm gonna jump forward a little bit. You guys get into this casino area. You come in on the second floor, so it's like an office area, and there's stairs that go downstairs. You hustle your way down the stairs. You see the door actually on the first floor. I'm going to move your little symbol down to the first floor. And the door, there's actually two doors. There's one to the north, and there's like a little short hallway that goes out to the east. Which door do you want to head for?
I think the north door out.
Okay. You go to that door. You're able to push the button and open it. You get outside, and you start making your way across the field towards the landing zone. You make it. I'm going to go to the overhead screen now and put you on that map. The overview screen, the first. So if you look at that first one, you get out to the field. So it's gray. There's pouring rain, driving rain. This area, there's a lot of rock formations. You can't see very far with the weather and these rock formations. There's a lot of like paths that the tractors drive on, so you're kind of following a path out towards the landing pad. You hear that unearthly scream coming from behind you, and you can't help but to see shadows. There's a shadowy figure, a black shadowy figure, massive, bigger than a human. McWeir, you've seen this. The others have not. So you can't help to see it, though. So I'm going to go ahead and give Singleton and Sig an extra point of stress.
Okay.
These things move with amazing power and grace. They could catch you in a second, it seems like. They're holding off, though. There's one off to the left rear. There's another one off to the right rear. And they're kind of like running in and over these rock formations. And they're kind of like hanging behind you and to the side. They're kind of flanking to your rear. As you make your way across. What do you want to do?
Okay. They're like they're toying with us. Like
They're
that's what
hurting us, but the ship is our only chance.
Okay, wait. So we're like
You
they're
guys are like
rocks.
you're running across. Yeah, there's these rock formations. It's
Uh-huh.
and you're running along this track that the tractors use to kind of move
Yeah.
through this rock field, and
Yeah.
you're making your way northwest up to this landing pad.
Yeah.
And in the driving rain, you can see these black figures kind of like hustling,
Yeah.
sprinting and in and out of shadows. And they're kind of behind you one to each side. And it's very clear that you're fucked. I mean, if they wanted you, they could just close in and
Yeah.
it would be done with.
So why
But
aren't they? I turn to McWeir and I'm like, we need a distraction. The android, we need a distraction. We're not gonna make it. Otherwise, they're playing with us.
and I'll assume you're running and talking as you're doing this.
Oh yeah. And like talking like while trying not to cry under my breath. That kind of that's what's happening.
I'm going to get over to where Singleton is at, and I'm going to give her the card. And I'm going to say, you need to get out, and you need to get Sig out of here because Sig knows what's going on. You've got to warn other people.
Wait.
I'm saying
McWeir, what are
we're
you
going
saying?
to keep running, but if push comes to shove,
McWeir, I'm not gonna leave you.
well, we'll find out about that in a second, won't we?
And then I
Do you want to
gesture
pull
towards
rank?
Sig.
Do you want to use your special skill?
Yeah, I'm going to try that.
So the way this works is if he succeeds, you have to do what he says, even if it puts you in danger. It's a very powerful skill. So you make a command roll, and Singleton, you're going to make a manipulation roll to resist it. And I don't think there's any modifiers to this, if I remember correctly. Does it say anything about modifiers? I don't
No.
think so. So it's pretty much just straight up. So command roll, and you're going to make a manipulation roll. As long as Wickweir gets at least 1/6, she'll succeed.
Look at all these dice. Oh, hang on. Let me move my dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all but that 4 there. So the good news is I got a 6. The bad news is I also got a 1 on the stress die.
Okay.
Oh.
And Singleton, go ahead and make your roll, and then we'll take care of the
Okay.
panic.
Okay. So I'm gonna ignore the ones. I'm gonna put them back.
Yes.
I only have 3 to roll with, and 3 stress. Okay.
Yep, that looks right.
Okay. I got 1 6.
Okay. So each of your 6s subtracts from McWeir's 6s. So McWeir got 1/6. You subtract the 6, so it's a failure. McWeir, you have a story point. Did you already use it? I can't remember. You already used it. So you're stuck. You resist her influence, and you got to roll that panic, McWeir.
Okay. Let's see what happens now.
Panicking in front of the xenomorphs. No.
That is an 8.
Okay. I think that was tremble. Yeah, tremble. You start to tremble uncontrollably. All your skill rolls using agility suffer a -2 modification until your panic stops. Okay. So you're trying, with broken voice, you're trying to convince her to listen to you, and it's not working, and you're falling apart, and you're just shaking. You can't help it.
Let's keep roll. Hold on, cover us.
Okay. You guys reach the landing pad. You see the shuttle. It's I forget what they call it, but I think it's
Those big clunky ones, right?
yeah, it's the same one from Alien, from the first movie, the one that Ripley escapes in the end. It's landed. It's got a tricycle landing gear, and there's these metal boots that come up onto the landing gear to keep it from taking off. And hypothetically, this card should not only open the door to the shuttle, but also release these boots once you go inside and push a button. There is on the back of the shuttle, so the bridge is in the front. There's a slanted view screen, and at the back of it, there's an access port that it's probably a good 4 or 5 meters high above the ground, but there's a slanted ramp that retracts that is down, so you can run up this ramp and open this door if you have the key card. You guys come running onto the landing pad. These creatures, again, there's some buildings there. You can see them kind of run up onto these buildings, and they're looking at you. They're just kind of looking at you.
Is there something on the ship? Why is the ship still here when everybody left?
Singleton, do you still have the motion tracker going, or do you turn that off?
Yes, I do. Oh my god.
Go ahead and make.
There's one thing that-
I will skip the power roll because this is probably going to be the last check, anyways.
Okay.
There is movement inside the shuttle. The thick hull of the shuttle masks it a lot, but you can't really tell how many. But there's some movement inside.
Frozen. Just frozen.
Anybody, what would you like to do?
Maybe it's survivors. We've got the key card. They couldn't have taken off without the key card.
Okay, maybe. I look at McWeir and I say, I have to go check by myself, because if something's there,
Why don't we have
shuttle
Holroyd
anyway.
go check?
I will.
Okay.
Where the rest of you guys want to situate yourselves while Holroyd walks up the ramp and opens the
Get to
door?
the bottom of the ramp. This will make our last stand here.
Yeah,
You
I make
okay
sure
with that,
both
Sig?
Sig and Lowell are with me.
Okay. And you guys are all watching the door, or you're looking back the other way where these two big nasty things are
I think we're spinning
lurking.
around.
Okay.
I think we would all be
We have to split our attention.
That makes
standing
sense.
back to back to back.
All right. Holroyd, you swipe the card, and the door opens up. And Holroyd, make a observation roll for me. Actually, no, it's what would it be? It would actually be a mobility roll. No, is that right? No, you make an observation roll.
Oh gosh, I don't like that. I don't like how he had to go back and forth.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay. I also got nothing, so it's trying to do something. Oh, no, I got one. I got 1-6. Okay. You open the door, and one of those spidery things leaps out and attacks you. Roll a 6-sided die to see what it does. Just one 6-sided die.
2.
It's a skittering menace. It comes
Okay.
skittering towards you. Usually it would scare you, or you'd gain increased stress, but you just look at it, mechanically. And it's before you. And you see there are 3 more of them that kind of come crawling up from behind chairs, and they start making their way towards the door. There's 4 of these things total. We would usually, we're going to initiative. We'll just use the same initiative we had before, just to gain a couple minutes of time.
Yeah.
So, Holroyd, what would you like to do?
I think what Holroyd's going to do is, I think just make a loud noise, just like a weird, like, oh, this might be what a robot thinks screaming is like, but just like as loud as possible. And maybe he like shoots like a couple shots of this gun, or just one. Like, I guess not in the ship though, so somewhere off. And
You want to shoot one of these crawly things, or just shoot off in the air?
I think off in the air. I'm trying to get their attention, and then
Try to
like
distract
run.
them.
Yeah, like hopefully get them off the ship and like run away.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. What would we call that? Well, and then do you want to move with your other action, like jump off the ramp and like hope that it follows you or they follow you? Is that kind of what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a little bit of a drop to jump off the ramp, so I'd like you to make it a mobility roll.
Yeah, I'm good at that. Oh wait, I forgot one. Well, not great so far, but oh yeah, perfect. I got just one.
Okay, so you are able to have a controlled fall, so you only take 1 point of damage from falling. Okay, so mark that off. Then the baddies are going to go. Trying to think how I would do this. I will say definitely the one that was coming at you follows you. Okay. And then I'll say two of the other ones do too, because they haven't really spotted the rest of these guys down at the bottom of the ramp. The last one though will move towards the other group at the ground. These guys are kind of programmed to kind of this one per target. All they need is one, given what their purpose is. They kind of spread out usually, so I won't let you get all of them, but we'll have three of them follow you. And they will go ahead and attack you. So what I want you to do, we'll say since you moved off, the one that was right up to you, it's going to get an attack. The other two will just move up into engaged range with you. All right. So roll another d6 for me. This is the attack of the creature.
Oh, sure. 4 this time.
Tail grapple. The facehugger leaps and catches its victim from behind. So as you jump, it jumps and it grabs you with its tail. Roll a second d6 for me.
1 this time.
It grabs your legs and you fall prone. You would usually have to make a panic attack. So this thing jumps in the air, grabs your legs. You kind of fall and roll on the ground, and you're stuck on the ground, and it's grappled onto your legs. Okay. The other ones, as I mentioned, 2 of them jump down and are kind of stand there beside Holroyd laying on the ground. The other one moves up to you guys, but it uses its full action to get up to you. So that's it for the bad guys. Next up is Singleton. So you have one of these things crawling around, maybe probably maybe a good 25 meters away. You've got Holroyd with 3 of them grouped around him. What do you want to do?
We need to take out that single one. I want to glance at my motion tracker. Is that all of the blips here in the ship, or are there more inside?
That seems to be all of them.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
When you're outside, the motion tracker has extended range, and you can see those two are behind you. Mm-hmm. And there actually is another one on the other side of the ship that is moving towards you slowly.
That seems like overkill.
But yeah, that just takes a moment. What would you like to do with your 2 actions?
I'm definitely gonna aim and shoot again.
At the one right in front of you?
One.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's our best chance to clear the way.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's 2.
When you shoot at something in engaged range, you actually get -3 because it's right there. It's trying to like get at you. Yeah. So you take your range, you take your agility, you get the +1 for the pistol. We'll say there's go ahead.
Sorry, like which one is close combat for? I'm looking at the numbers.
I think you're doing ranged combat. So you want
Okay.
agility,
Okay.
range combat.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to touch it with the acid. So like
No.
5,
Yeah.
6,
Although at
7.
this range, when you shoot it, guess what? That acid's gonna hit all three of you guys. But hey, it happens.
Or should we try to just run past it? No, but it's gonna chase after us.
You can. You could do what's called. You could do a fast action of. I think it's called escape action. You'd make a mobility roll to try to get past it without it attacking you. But if you failed, it would immediately get an attack against you.
Wow, this is like
You also
this is
could
all super
you al-
bad.
you also could push it. You could push
Yeah,
it.
I could.
You could
I
try to
could.
like kick it out of range of you guys and then shoot it. Kicking, I think, is a.
Okay.
I think it's a fast action.
Let me double check. Yeah, push enemy. I will do that. I will.
Okay.
I will push that. I'm resisting the urge to swear a lot. By the way. Like,
Go ahead. It's that time. So a push is a close combat attack.
Yeah.
So that would take your strength plus your close combat
5, not bad. 5.
plus all your stress.
Right. And I'm currently at 3. So that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ignoring the ones who rolled low. Okay, re-rolling. Okay, I have 2 6s. Oh no! I misread it. 1 6.
Okay.
One
No
six.
no panic though. So
panic.
that succeeds. You push it onto short range. Which direction would you like to push it?
Towards the android.
Okay. So I'm thinking I'm imagining Holroyd off to your right, sort of.
Right.
I actually
Because
do
I
have
just
a.
wanted to cross us again, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of push it out of the way, so at least temporarily the way up this ramp is open. Do you want to take your other fast action and move up the ramp to the door?
I think we should just try to. I think we should just try to move because I'm worried about it splashing.
Okay, so
I'm hyper aware that Sig only has like 1.
Yeah. So you move up to the door. You're not through yet, but you're up the ramp to the door. Next up was the bad guys. So the one on the ground is going to run up to either Sig or McWeir. I'll roll a random die for that. It runs up to McWeir. McWeir, it's going to make an attack against you. Roll a d6 for me to see what it does. You want to roll low. And you're muted. Did you get a 1?
A 1.
Oh,
I
one.
rolled the panic die.
So it skitters up to you menacingly. You gain a point of stress. And you have to make a panic check.
6. Okay. Well, let's look at this then. Well, let's see. What's a 12?
It's got to be good. Let's see here. Scream.
Oh my gosh.
You scream your lungs out for 1 round, losing your next slow action. Your stress level is decreased by 1. It feels good to scream. You've been wanting to do that for a while. But every friendly character who hears your scream must make an immediate panic roll.
Oh
So
my god.
Sig and Singleton, you have to make a panic roll.
Can Sig ignore the?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just Singleton then.
Just do that. Just
Give
do
in
that,
to your
please.
hate.
It's just
Yeah.
McWeir screaming.
Just-
Whatever.
Just have your Darth Vader kind of moment over there. I'll roll instead by myself. Okay. So, but wait, I'm gonna mark. I gain stress first. Is that
No, you do not gain any stress.
Okay,
You just
okay.
have to make a panic check.
Okay.
So
and I
just
rolled the
roll
1 green.
roll that green die. Yep.
Okay.
Add your
okay.
stress.
Okay. Once again, I'm stalling. Just moving the dice over to the side. Okay. Here we go. One. 4.
And
4
what's-
plus 4 plus 3. 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. Nervous twitch. Your stress level and the stress level of all friendly PCs in short range of you increase by 1. So that's all 3 of you guys. Gain a point of stress.
Oh my gosh.
All right. I'm
It's
just gonna
cascading effect.
hand wave the attacks on Holroyd. I'm just gonna say they attack him. They probably don't really do a whole lot to you. They realize though that you're not fresh meat. You're not warm blooded, and next round they're going to change their plan. We move to Sig.
I'm just gonna try to run past them all. I want to get into the ship.
Okay, so you've got the one that ran up and attacked McWeir. So you have one engaged range. So you're going to have to make that mobility roll to, or you can try. You can do what she did, or you can do what Jamie did. You can push it and then run, or if you want to go faster, you can just try to escape, move one area up to the ramp, and then move again into the ship.
Yeah, I want to try for that.
Okay, so that's a mobility roll you want to make.
Okay, that's a lot of dice. Wow. I have a lot of stress dice.
How many do you have right now?
7.
Oh boy.
Hearing all the clicking is so ominous or something.
Oh, I only got one on this, and it had to be on the stress dice.
And you've got like a zillion sixes. You
A
only
bunch
need one.
of 6s.
Yep.
I still have my story point.
Oh, yeah.
Can I do anything with that?
Well, let's roll your panic. You might not need it. Roll the panic.
That's true.
I'm
Roll
probably-
that green die. If you get a 1, maybe you'll be all right.
That's a
2.
2.
2, all right. What's that, a 9?
Yeah, so I drop an item.
Yeah. So you're just going to drop your shotgun. You go running by. This thing jumps at you, knocks your shotgun out of your hand. You could care less at this point. You
That's
run
true,
in.
though.
You run all the way into the ship. Okay. Then we have McWeir. You're muted.
Muted.
No. So. I am not in a great position here.
Yeah, still at the tail end of the scream.
You can attack it. You can do what Sig did, or you can try to do what Singleton did.
But isn't she down to just one?
I've only got a fast action.
Oh, that's right, because you're screaming. Whatever you're doing, you're screaming.
Then I think pushing it is a fast action.
Yes.
Yes.
Then I will
And that
attempt.
would also make sense. Yeah.
I'm going to attempt to push it.
Okay. That's a close combat attack.
Okay. So that would be. Let's see. Let's grab these things. So we'll pull a bunch of these other dice off to the side. Oh, and got almost enough stress dice there. That's showing there. Yep, that's what that is. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 2. Well, I got a 6, but I got a lot of 1s.
No.
Okay. So you're going to make a panic roll.
Oh my god.
And
there's
the
3 ones at the panic.
the extra good news is that when you're already panicked and you panic again,
Okay.
you roll the panic die, and if you end up with something that's not as bad as what you're already suffering, it automatically does the next one up on the table.
Oh,
So-
but is it? Do I roll a panic roll for each
Go
one?
ahead. No, you just roll once. No
Okay,
matter how
so
many
just
ones you
roll.
got, you just roll once.
All
So
right.
just roll the green die for me.
So that will bring me to a 12.
Oh, beautiful. And
Oh,
you're
sorry,
already
11.
okay, but you already were screaming, which is a
Yes.
12. So you go to 13, which
No,
is
I got an 11.
yeah, but since you're
Oh, so it
already
pushes it
screaming,
up. I
it moves
see.
it up one more to flee. You can't just take it anymore. You must flee to a safe place and refuse to leave it. You won't attack anyone and won't attempt anything dangerous. You are not allowed to make a retreat roll. If you have an enemy at engaged range when you flee, your stress level is decreased by 1. But every-
Go ahead.
But every friendly character, when she goes to flee, everyone else that sees this is gonna have to make a panic check.
Okay.
All right, that completes the round. I'm just going to jump in and kind of hand wave kind of the direction that I see this going because of time.
Okay. Sure. I'm cool.
And I think what happens. Let me ask, Sig, is your intention to launch the ship, and are you going to wait for other people, or are you just going to go?
Well, I don't have the key card.
Once they open the door,
Okay.
the boots come off, the controls open up. So it's available if you want to. Do you want to wait for them, or do you intend to launch?
Am I not there also?
You were outside. My next question, if Sig intends to leave, is are you going to slam the door in Singleton's face?
I think I'm going to try to wait.
Yeah, no piloting.
Yeah, I'm not the best pilot. I mean, I could maybe turn on some kind of autopilot or something.
Yeah. This thing has a point in the navigation computer. It's almost automatic, but yeah, a pilot would be nice for sure. Okay, so that's what happens. And you wait for Singleton to come in. You slam the door. Singleton runs to, Singleton puts up a complaint, but you see McWeir go down under 3 of these things. Holroyd's trying to pull them off as the big drones come in and start just rip Holroyd into pieces. And you get but Singleton, are you maybe it's secret agenda time? Are you upset that McWeir's going down?
No, I'm not.
Rude!
I'm so sorry, Noah. I was dying the whole time.
You launch the ship, and the 2 of you escape. And
But I also do the other part of my agenda if possible.
I forget which part was that.
To make sure no one else survives.
How are you going to get rid of Sig?
I'm gonna wait. I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh my god.
I'm like crying. I'm gonna wait until Sig is distracted, and just take care of them quietly.
Just shoot him in the head or something?
Yes.
Okay. Sig, did you have any evil intent towards Singleton, or are you an innocent victim here?
No, my secret agenda was to escape with one of the aliens alive with me, but I dropped it, so much for that. So yeah, I think you probably just get me. Like I'm probably just like resting. I'm on the floor, cowered in my lab coat, my trusty lab coat.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, that's great.
So, Jamie, I added a slide to this Hope's Last Day slides. There's some text there. Could you that'll finish it out for us? This is sort of like Ripley making her final report into the computer as you go flying off into space. You see that?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, so go ahead and just read that for us to kind of cap it for us.
Okay. This is the final report from Hadley's Hope. Singleton reporting. The colony has been overrun by monsters. Of the 158 souls residing there, only, I guess it's 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
Only 1 has survived. The rest, well, I dread to think about what has happened to the rest. I can only hope they were given the mercy of a quick death, but I doubt
Like
it.
Sig.
If you receive this message, do not attempt a rescue. Stay far away and inform the Colonial Marines as soon as you can. Only they can handle those monsters. This is Singleton, signing off.
Great. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I'm going to go offline.
Sure.
If you guys want to hang around and give feedback and
decompress.
chit-chat, decompress, feel free. But I'm going to end the broadcast.
What was Lowell's secret objective?
Yeah, let's get those out there.
Mine was putting bullets in the corp ahead, so I did achieve mine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
cool,
say so,
cool,
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Holroyd, what was yours?
Yeah, his was that he knew about the corporate mission to get these aliens, but he felt guilty and was going to sacrifice himself to make sure everyone survived.
I was
Oh,
the only
good.
one with a jerk personal agenda. Is that right?
Yep.
I was kind of
Well,
assuming,
Sig,
you know?
did you share yours yet?
Yeah, mine was to escape
to
with an
get
alien.
out
So
the alien.
Yeah, he definitely could have gone a jerky way. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
And
But like mine
I
was
was
to
planning.
Make sure.
Yeah.
Mine was to make sure no one survived. Mine
And
was to follow Holroyd.
And I'd say
Check-
each of you succeeded except for Sig. I don't think Sig did escape with a live sample, did he?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll end the broadcast and then we can talk if you want.